A felon caught selling guns out of his garage in a Chicago neighborhood has been convicted of illegal firearm possession. 28-year-old Jamel Davis was found guilty of selling two .38 caliber revolvers from the garage of his home on July 23rd of 2014. He faces a maximum of 10 years in prison when sentenced next March. A man charged in the fatal shooting of a security guard at a Canadian National Railway facility insists he's innocent. Half a dozen sheriff's deputies carried Rashad Williams into a Markham County courtroom Wednesday. The 24-year-old man from East Hazel Crest is charged with murder in the death of 38-year-old Tyrone Harden of Maryville, Indiana. The judge ordered Williams out of the courtroom, and Williams then sank to his knees before being dragged out. Williams was arrested Sunday. He's being held without bail. Many Chicago police officers are being outfitted with body cameras. Now, some probation officers will start getting them too. Cook County's probation department plan comes amid allegations that some of its officers have planted drugs or stolen money. Police in Elgin will soon begin wearing body cameras after the city council approved a plan to buy 182 of them. The first group of officers will begin wearing the cameras in February. The Cubs World Series trophy is going on a Midwest tour. It will kick off today at the team's pop-up store on Michigan Avenue. Fans will be able to take photographs with the hardware between noon and 3. The trophy will then make stops across Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa. Chicago sports. Bulls over San Antonio, 95-91. Former Cub joining their biggest rival. Multiple reports confirm outfielder Dexter Fowler has agreed to sign a long-term deal with the Cardinals. The news, a service of Cabela's. Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find great deals for everything on your family's wish list. Plus, be one of the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. Saturday and receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Holiday parties come in all shapes and sizes. Elegant plated dinners, festive cocktail hours, casual buffets, themed events, and more.
Tasty Catering is already decked out with the holiday spirit, featuring a brand new holiday catering menu and a team of event planners who are eager to help you experience a successful party of any kind.
So much more than amazing holiday catering, Tasty Catering has been helping companies plan their entire holiday parties from start to finish for decades. Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition.
Your event can be exactly what you envisioned. All you need to do is visit tastycatering.com or call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 and tell them your event date.
A planner will ask you about your holiday party goals and then help you reach them as simply and stress-free as possible.
tastycatering.com. Start your holiday planning with a company that Chicago trusts. Tasty Catering, 847-593-2000.
Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition. 847-593-2000.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head-up event right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank?
14 years.
That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rowe's the man.
I'm sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rowe's the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rowe's the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010. Washington.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
5:09. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. In our AM 560 Traffic Center, in for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Traffic on the whole in good shape this morning. However, northbound Tri-State, 3 right lanes are blocked already with a crash at Higgins. We've got some heavy delays between Balmoral into the Jane Addams. Looks like that's going to be a problem area as we roll on through the morning. The good news is everything else rolling incident-free. Eden's quiet. Kennedy in 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 10 in from the junction. Express lanes looking good. Thumbs up on the Eisenhower and Stevenson, and no hassles on the inbound side of the Ryan. 15 minutes. 95th and down into downtown. But again, northbound Tri-State stopped traffic with 3 right lanes blocked between Balmoral to Jane Addams. Traffic's a service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Let's get the latest with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A breezy day with clouds and sun, high 24, mostly cloudy night, low 14, coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon tomorrow with a high 24, and periods of snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches at night, low 21, and an additional 2 to 4 inches on Sunday, high 31. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have some light flurries in the area. 21 degrees at O'Hare, 22 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well,
fun.
We have to, so fun and what?
Oh, the snow. We're getting 8 inches of snow on Sunday.
Oh.
So fun. I love it. You don't have to snow. All right, you shovel, I mean. But I better go buy a snowplow.
You know what I like about the heat?
What do you like about the heat?
You don't have to shovel it.
That's right. You're going away for a few days. Where are you journeying off to?
Taking a little
Fancy pants?
mental health break to Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as warm as I'd like it to be this time of year in Charleston, but it's...
There's no snow, and mid to upper 50s, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fine.
Hit them long and straight.
Thank you very much. So, I will not be here Monday, so I want you to think about that.
Don't worry, I already started planning.
Oh, good.
I'm having every Democratic lawmaker on.
Go ahead.
I'm having Tom Dart, Congressman Quigley.
And then the first question you should ask them is why so yellow?
Why
so yellow? Why so chicken? Why don't you come on when I'm here?
Oh, I don't.
We can have a talk.
Well, I'm obsessed with prison, so Tom Dart's making changes at 26 and Cal. That's why I want him to come on to talk about the changes he's making.
As Cook County Sheriff, my understanding from the press accounts of Tom Dart is that he's mostly concerned with pet shelters.
No, he's really into sex trafficking for minor girls. He's made that one of his...
Craigslist, I remember his foray into...
And also he's this hotline now, so if you feel you're being bullied, you can call this number.
Great.
I will bring that up.
How many murders have we had in Chicago this year? And we've got a Cook County Sheriff who's talking about online bullying. I understand it's cheap press, and with the emphasis on cheap.
But he can't send his deputies into the city of Chicago.
These are our law enforcement resources.
Yeah.
So you know what? There's all kinds of things that can be
Well,
done.
if they ask him to do that, then he can. And there's certain areas of Cook County that are unincorporated towns that they.
Yeah, right. Yes. He could also volunteer. Could offer resources. We can focus on rank order priority matters like violent crime. I mean, that's me, but I mean, I don't. I understand that we need to focus on.
And then Ron Sandak's coming on.
We need to focus on John's on Craigslist. I get that too. It's real important. And good luck with Ron Sandak too. It should be a revealing.
No, he's not coming on.
Interview.
I have tried, but he doesn't want to.
Really? Why? Boy, who turned out to be right on that one?
You did.
Yeah.
But what exactly transpired was a little more dicey than we had originally planned. Don't do things when other people could be recording you.
All right, let's talk about people that are actually worthy of our respect, just for the novelty of it, particularly those who have spent some time in public life and public office.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, talking about John Glenn, passing of John Glenn yesterday at the age of 95, the last of the Mercury 7, the last of the original 7 astronauts. You got your John Glenn,
Mm-hmm.
you got your Alan Shepard, you got your Gordon Cooper.
Who played John Glenn in The Right Stuff?
You got your who played John Glenn in The Right Stuff?
Yeah.
You got your Wally Schirra.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to remember. So that's how many what am I up to? You got your Gus Grissom. You got your Deke Slayton. Who am I missing?
Chuck Yeager?
Chuck Yeager. No.
Don't ask.
Evil Knievel? Robbie Knievel? The Wallendas? No.
Nick Wallenda?
Yeah. So anyway, John Glenn, who served as a United States Senator for 25 years, in addition to being one of our hero astronauts, and really, astronaut, U.S. Senator, presidential candidate in '84.
Yeah, that's right.
Couldn't.
And they went back up into the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Remember that? Oh, I was so concerned.
I wish he would have taken Mondale with him. And also.
But he was a good family man. He was devoted to his wife, and I just loved that about him.
And also actor.
Mm-hmm.
From the Deep Digs, you won't get anywhere else. John Glenn on Frasier.
Back in those glory days, I was very uncomfortable when they asked us to say things that I didn't want to say and deny other things. Some people ask, were you alone out there? We never gave the real answer, and yet we've seen things out there, strange things. But we know what we saw out there, and we couldn't really say anything, and the bosses were scared of this. They were afraid of War of the Worlds type stuff and about panic in the streets, and so we had to keep quiet. And now we only see these things in our nightmares or maybe in the movies, and some of them are pretty close to being the truth.
Yeah, talking about our alien overlords. That was great. It's very funny.
Was he talking to Frasier? Where was he?
Yeah, he was giving a talk, and of course, Kelsey Grammer's and reactions are priceless. You get this hero, and then he starts talking about aliens. It's funny, good bit. Buzz Aldrin,
he's still in the hospital too.
Yeah, he's in his 80s.
Well, he wanted some all-inclusive to Antarctica and got sick while he was down there, and they rushed him to New Zealand, so he's in a hospital there.
He wrote that he first met John Glenn in 1953 when I was a fighter pilot in South Korea in the 16th Squadron in the 51st Fighter Group. He was officer of the 25th Squadron, 51st Fighter Group. Next time I learned about him, he flew, of course, on his first orbital flight, and then I was reported as a NASA astronaut in 63 and started training in 64. We both became elders in the same church in Houston, Texas.
Oh, that's awesome.
So 50-year relationship, 60-year, really.
But didn't John Glenn make every boy want to be an astronaut? Everybody want to aspire to be like him?
Well, yeah, I suppose of that generation, yeah. I mean, with the news today, I'm saddened again to hear we've lost the pioneer of spaceflight for the United States. second only to Yuri Gagarin, who will always go down in history. Is certainly one of the most influential officers in the Marine Corps, and of course is one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts. I'm very sorry he has departed us with his wisdom. I join that crowd of people in the entire nation and the world in paying homage to his service. So nice statement from Buzz Aldrin.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today we're going to have breezy, quite cold conditions, a high of 24 degrees, 20 degrees right now. But when you factor in the wind chill, it's in the single digits. Saturday, Sunday, we're going to have some snow coming our way, folks. On Saturday, cloudy, very cold, a coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon. Then on Sunday, it's going to be chilly with snow, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of the white stuff and a high of 31 degrees. Let's get those travel times. I saw the entrance ramp to 294 was blocked off near 90. Here's Dominic Fortini filling in for Jim Telemonte. What's going on?
Sure is. 3 right lanes are blocked on the northbound side of the Tri-State Balmoral to the Jane Addams, all because of an accident involving a semi, and that ramp shut down. Because of that accident, the northbound Tri-State ramp closed just north of 90 as cars make their way on early this morning. The good news is most everything else rolling incident-free. We do have the left lane blocked with a crash westbound Reagan just before Eola. But again, the big problem this morning is going to be westbound 90 at the Tri-State, all because of an earlier crash. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Ed Harris, says John Glenn. Ed Harris.
Thank you.
In the right stuff.
Appreciate you.
The website, upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do here on this show, long-form interviews, podcasts of selected interviews from opinion leaders and policymakers that are featured on Chicago's Morning Answer, as well as long-form interviews with some of those same individuals, names that you have come to know and love, like a Colonel Allen West, like a K.T. McFarland, like a Dr. Sebastian Gorka, like a John Cass here locally as well. Also, commentary, man-on-the-street interviews, podcast of our Illinois Rising program on Sundays, which focuses on state of Illinois policy and politics. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, now for something less uplifting. This CNN profile piece from Fareed Zakaria, The Rise of the Rest author. We living in a post-American world. You better pump the brakes, Fareed Zakaria, not so fast. This special that CNN airs on Obama's legacy.
Oh, yeah. I saw the teases for it.
Yeah, and to no one's surprise, if you've been paying attention, and to the point that if you think the D.C. press corps is going to be chastened by the November 8th outcome, I'm afraid to break this to you, but you're mistaken. This very race-obsessed. Let me give you an example. Why were Republicans so opposed to Barack Obama's policy agenda?
Because he was African-American.
Well, yes.
Or is it more nuanced than that?
That's one of the great David Axelrod impersonations I've ever heard.
Thank you.
It's indisputable that there was a ferocity to the opposition and a lack of respect to him that was a function of race.
Function of race.
See?
Function of race. You agree with that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro. Text line, they open with this, well, President Obama and Michelle were dancing, their inaugural ball dance. away on the other side of town, top Republican power brokers, 12 leaders of the Republican Party, were gathered for dinner to plot their opposition to President Obama's policy agenda. Isn't that what the opposition party's supposed to do?
They always do that. Do you think the Democrats are going to do that during Trump's inauguration?
Soon to be DNC chairman, I hope, Keith Ellison has said Democrats in the House are just going to vote no to everything Trump does or tries to do. That's what he said. Is that obstructionist? Or is it only obstructionist when it's Republicans? And particularly when it's Republicans and you have a black president. I mean, the way this is presented is cartoonish. Of course it is. And if you can't have a cartoon from the left without Van Jones, Obama's suck toy, and he doubles down on what Axelrod had to say.
I can't name one thing that this Congress supported this president on in 8 years. You have to have an extraordinary explanation for this level of obstruction.
Oh.
I've got an extraordinary explanation.
Yes?
Republicans aren't socialists.
That's an explanation.
It's rather ordinary because it's pretty straightforward that, opposition to a backdoor takeover of the health insurance industry by the federal government is something Republicans oppose, whether it would be Barack Obama doing it or, oh, by the way, all the heat Mitt Romney took for doing the same at the state level in Massachusetts when he was a Republican candidate for president and ultimately the Republican nominee in 2012. Nobody was happy about Mitt Romney's Massachusetts care, Romney care in Massachusetts, which was a smaller version of Obamacare. It's terrible.
Well, Axelrod also said that at least one powerful Republican was disrespectful to Obama and told him, quote, "We don't really think you should be here."
And how many Democrats have told
really?
have
said that to Trump?
Or been filling the cable news airwaves with the whole Trump doesn't,
He doesn't deserve this. It's not going to happen.
Versions of it.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
great.
And
but we got to put the dramatic music behind it when we say it.
And if you think President Obama is going to rise above this line of argumentation that's offered by CNN as they focus on rewriting history, while conservatives in the Trump administration hopefully focuses on learning from history, that's the difference between the two sides. President Obama, you think he's going to rise above racial politics? Because, he's the post-racial president. He's going to heal the races and all that, heal racial divisions. No.
Nah?
I think there's a reason why attitudes about my presidency among whites in northern states are very different from whites in southern states. So, are there folks whose primary concern about me has been that I seem foreign, the other? Are those who champion the birther movement, feeding off of bias? Absolutely.
The fact. Mm-hmm. The difference in attitudes between southern whites and northern whites. Boy, that is a statement, isn't it? So, all you whites south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Why don't you go talk to him when you go to Charlotte or Charleston? Yeah,
I will. But the other thing is, we need
the pulse of the people, Dan.
We need to make sure we bank that clip, and the Republican Party should for generations to come, because what he's done is just ensure Republican domination of states south of the Mason-Dixon line for the next generation or two. This is the response right after after November 8th. You don't like me, whites who don't live in Chicago, you're racist. Okay. You're on notice. Whites south of the Mason-Dixon line. Very different attitude about me than whites in the north. I mean, it's a sanitized version of some of the things black separatists, Nation of Islam types like Keith Ellison say. It's an incredible statement. Just because he says it in a conversational tone of voice doesn't make it any less outrageous. That's akin to deplorables. It's just a regional description of deplorables.
It's saying that they're racist without calling them the R word. I mean, really, that's what it is.
Whites in the South. It wasn't, a small percentage of people. Of course, are there racists out there? Of course there are. There are fringe elements out there. Of course there are. But the way the left talks about people who disagree with them is to purposely conflate a small percentage of people who are prejudiced against people because of their race
or their gender.
We're talking about race here. But or who are conspiracy theorists, unfounded conspiracies. And by the way, there's fringe on both, kind of both extremes. And it just to push everybody else in a region or in a particular demographic into that small basket of actual deplorables.
Well, remember on the campaign trail, President Obama went out and said, if you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, you're sexist.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a different version, what he claims that he experienced while president.
Well, right. And so the individual who is going to rise above identity politics, he never was. He got elected based on identity politics. He prosecuted identity politics. That's how he put together his 50% plus one coalition. He is the most shameless of the race hustlers, the bigot baiters. He just does it with proper syntax and, as I said, a conversational tone of voice, and so it sounds reasonable. But it's no more reasonable than the demagoguery you hear from an Al Sharpton or a Jesse Sr. or a Father Flagler. It's of the same kind.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer. AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
U.S. Steel may add 10,000 jobs, and we'll hear from the U.S. Steel CEO as to why he's prepared to do that at 5:38.
And later, new overnight, Trump taking thank you tour to Iowa and defending his job and cabinet picks while keeping a spot on Celebrity Apprentice. Oh, my. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
21 degrees, mostly cloudy skies in Chicago. President-elect Donald Trump is promising more jobs.
My plan begins with bold structural reform to create millions of really good paying jobs.
On the latest leg of his thank you tour, Trump telling an Iowa crowd his administration will uphold the philosophy of Buy American and Hire American. One of the first men to walk on the moon, saddened by the loss of former astronaut and U.S. Senator John Glenn. Buzz Aldrin saying he's saddened by the loss of John Glenn, the legend, the first American to orbit the Earth. Vermont Democrat Pat Leahy was in the U.S. Senate with John Glenn.
John was one of the best people I ever served with. And when I speak of what it was like coming here as a brand new senator, every time I've been asked about that, Mr. President, I've talked about the fact I came here and was sworn in with John Glenn. I get the floor.
He called Glenn a pioneer. Space flight for the U.S. Glenn died yesterday at the age of 95. Millions of Americans are shivering under the first Arctic blast of the season, and it soon could get colder. Sub-zero temps slamming parts of the Rockies and Plains, rolling into the Midwest. Temperatures as low as minus 14. A second police officer shot Wednesday in Georgia is dead. Georgia Southwest State University officer Jody Smith has been fighting for his life after being shot responding to a domestic call with another officer, Nicholas Marr. Macy's will no longer donate any money to Planned Parenthood. Conservative watchdog group that monitors corporate funding of certain causes says that decision was prompted by pro-life customers who made major complaints about the practice. Here in Chicago, police are trying to identify the man who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman inside her Southwest Side home. The purported leader of Chicago's notorious Hobos Street Gang has testified that he didn't order hits on gang associates turned police informants. Gregory Bowlegs Chester began day 2 of testimony on the stand in one of Chicago's biggest racketeering trials in years. NBA, Bulls beat San Antonio 95-91. The news service of Cabela's. Come to Cabela's Christmas sale. Find great deals for everything on your family's wish list. Plus, be one of the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. Saturday and receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
When I listen to Audible, I'm not cooking dinner for one. I'm on horseback, galloping across the Scottish moors towards my one true love. There, through the mist, I see my beloved, kilt flapping in the breeze. The fibers of his shirt struggle against his bulging muscles as he takes me from my horse and... my frittata!
Go to audible.com/actnow and your first download is free. Audible. Stories that surround you.
Identity theft is more than credit fraud. It's when someone opens new accounts, files fake tax returns, or does any number of bad things in your name. LifeLock can help with proprietary technology that alerts you to a huge range of identity threats. And while no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, if you have a problem, we have a team of US-based specialists who work to fix it. Join and get 60 days risk-free plus 15% off. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code SALE15. That's promo code SALE15. Offer ends December 31st.
5:36 and a check of the roads this morning. In our AM 560 traffic center, in for Jim, here's Dominic.
We got a crash involving a semi this morning, northbound side of the tri-state, a little bit north of 90 near Higgins. That's created a few issues along with it. 3 right lanes are blocked there. Near northbound tri-state, right near the Jane Adams, and traffic stopped pretty solidly. Balmoral to beyond 90. Also have the westbound 90 ramp onto the northbound side of 294 closed down. So a bit of an issue early on this morning, but the Edens and Kennedy as well as the Eisenhower and Stevenson are still quiet. Inbound Ryan a little bit slow as you approach Canalport, 17 minutes from 95th in. Inbound Bishop Ford tightens up at 111. Traffic's a service of Cabela's. Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find great deals for everything on your family's wish list. Plus, be one of the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday and receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Breezy, cold, clouds and sun today, high 24. Cloudy and cold overnight, low 14. 21 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking about, we'll get to Trump in Iowa last night as well as his labor secretary pick, but we were talking about the CNN piece on Obama's legacy, and of course, it leads with and obsesses about race, and anybody who opposed Barack Obama was a racist. They don't quite say it in those stark terms, but the implication is pretty clear from Axelrod, Red Diaper Baby David Axelrod, from Obama Secretary Van Jones and from Obama himself, who said very different attitudes toward him by Southern whites compared to Northern whites. And, if you say, well, what are you saying?
That we're more sophisticated up here?
Yeah, but also just that, liberal.
Liberal. Well, yeah.
I know that those two are not synonymous. I think that they think they are. Right, but that's what they're saying. Is they're more liberal up here, so they're more sophisticated, so they're less racist. I'm not so sure about that. And for those people who say, "Yeah, oh come on," are you saying nobody voted against the president, against Barack Obama when he was running for re-election, because he was black? I'm not saying that. I'm sure there were, and I suspect there were a lot of people who voted for him because he was black too. A lot of people who voted for him what's the difference? How does it net out? I have no idea. And neither does anybody else.
They wanted to be part of the process, a part of history. I voted. They want to tell their grandkids, I voted for the first African-American president.
Right. And so is that racist? And when you vote, when you do something for somebody solely on the basis of their race, is that racist? Or is it just when you do something against them? You're using the same calculus. Grace on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Here, let me explain this. The reason that people did not vote for Mr. Obama is that he is a Marxist-Leninist. That is who Saul Alinsky is, Hillary's vaunted mentor. They are both Marxist-Leninists, and the thing about Marxist-Leninists is that they desire to tear countries like the United States down. That, for instance, is why Mr. Obama never did anything for the black middle class, because he is trying to destroy the middle class. Why would he try to give anybody in the middle class, black or white, a hand up? You know, it has nothing at all to do with race. Racism, sexism, these things are smokescreens, and you're being duped if you believe any of it.
All right, thanks for the call, Grace. Well, so Trump in Des Moines last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he had a statement of principle about a Trump administration and the American worker.
The American worker built this country, and now it's time for American workers to have a government that, for the first time in decades, answers to them. We're going to answer to them.
And one of the government officials that's going to provide those answers is Trump's selection to be labor secretary. He is Andy Puzder. He is a
he's the CEO.
CEO of the Carl Jr.
Yeah,
Hardee's franchise.
Yeah, Hardee's and Carl's Jr. And he's under fire because he doesn't want $15 minimum wage. And so the Democrats are fighting back, saying he's not going to increase. He's not going to be good for the working man and woman.
Well, it's not the labor secretary that sets wages by fiat. It's Congress that tries to do that. They're both wrong. The Congress is wrong to do it, and they're wrong to lambaste Puzder for his unwillingness to do it. It's just the same thing that happened at the state level, too. And it's the same rap from the Democrats. I mean, again, this is just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. He's anti-worker. Scott Pruitt's anti-clean air.
Mm-hmm. Scott Pollution Pruitt.
Betsy DeVos is anti-teacher. To take your pick of secretary of cabinet position of issue sector, and the left's rhetoric is just they're anti-good, and we're pro-good. They're for bad stuff, and we're for good stuff. It's kindergarten.
Well, before we played Pudzer's great commercials, Donald Trump last night in Iowa, he said Carrier was just the beginning, Dan, that he's going to take on a lot more companies.
I actually love calling these companies. I said, give me a list of 10 companies that are leaving. And I actually love calling these companies and saying, hi. And I get the president of this company. And I say, hi, how you doing? Oh, hello, Mr. President-elect. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. By the way, while we're on the phone, don't leave. Please don't leave. Please. And we've had great success. You'll be seeing a lot more success.
Okay.
Text from 708, best chicken sandwich on the planet, Carl's Jr. Better than Chick-fil-A, really?
No, it's not better.
Come on. No. Come on. Something else that's good about Carl's Jr. and Hardee's employees.
The triple bacon burger?
Well, yes, we'll get to that. But they employ 75,000 workers. And something good about Mr. Puzder, he, as the Wall Street Journal opines, is the rare executive who promotes free markets rather than merely his narrow business interests. He's expounded on the pages of the Wall Street Journal about the unintended consequences of Obamacare's mandates with respect to employment, as well as the artificial wage shedding that the mystics on the left want to advance, like the $15 minimum wage or whatever level minimum wage for that matter. So Puzder is pretty strong pick. I mean, I'll tell you what, this just continues the streak for President-elect Trump on his cabinet selections. You've got a lot of principled, liberty-oriented policymakers who are also practitioners who've done stuff. It's not just theory with much of his cabinet. They've actually done these things. They've actually put these principles into practice for their personal benefit, yes, and also for the benefit of tens of thousands of others that they've employed or unleashed to be entrepreneurial capitalists themselves. I mean, this is another excellent selection as far as I'm concerned. And all you have to do to know it's an excellent selection is the same thing you had to do to know Betsy DeVos was an excellent selection. Listen to the hysteria of the left. That's how you know it's good.
Well, a lot of women's rights groups are not happy with Puzder because he has these over-the-top sexy commercials. I don't know if you saw the three-way bacon burger.
I've seen it.
With the ladies. They're wearing white bikinis.
Many times.
They're hot, and they're eating bacon and a burger.
They say three's a crowd. They ain't never been to my house. Hey girl, what you doing this week?
With bacon strips, bacon jam, and bacon crumbles.
She's giving her some, she's giving me
It's a bacon lover's fantasy.
Yeah, you get the idea, but
no, you don't. You have to watch it to get the idea. The audio does not quite do it justice.
Really, yeah. There's somebody like putting the bacon jam in their mouth. I mean, it's sultry, it's sexy, it's over the top. I mean, the National Organization of Women. Remember the Swedish bikini team for Miller Lite Beer? They came in and they said that was discussing discriminatory or sexist toward women, and they made the Swedish bikini team get out of those ads. And I'm surprised that Carl's Jr.
Who made anybody do anything?
The National Organization of Women
now
suggested.
Can't make anybody do anything. They can just behave like the man-hating shrews they are and try and verbally assault people to their will, but they can't force anybody to do anything. These harridans running around over it now.
Well, here's Puzder last year just talking about his commercials and defending them.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a beautiful woman in a bikini eating a burger and washing a Bentley or a pickup truck or being in a hot tub.
That's
I think there's probably nothing more American. I don't have a problem with our ads.
I often eat triple cheeseburgers in a hot tub or on the back of a F-150.
Look, if you're eating a bacon double or triple cheeseburger, you're washing a Bentley, you're multitasking. That's showing the multiple dimensions to the female experience.
And sex sells. I mean, he's turned around Carl's Jr. and Hardee's because of these commercials.
Best commercials in the business, Hubba Hubba. Text Steve on 88, who apparently is 100 years old. Hubba Hubba.
Did you see the new breakfast sandwich? Ooh, the new sausage breakfast sandwich.
That's a spicy sausage. Sausage.
Wow. I don't know how they fit that in a to-go box, but that was a little racy, too.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the good news. You know, those kind of Labor Department PSAs that are so vanilla? Not anymore. Now with Andy Puzder around, I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, my God. Oh, wait, there's more. I wish we could have a whole segment about
playing
cars at Carl Jr.'s commercials.
It's going to be the man show over at the Labor Department with Andy around.
With 3 bikini girls are here. They want to see you.
Let me show you these charts from the Bureau of Labor Statistics with girls bouncing on trampolines presenting them. Nothing more American. God bless him.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560, The Answer.
Got another one here. A girl in American bikini having a triple cheeseburger with bacon on top.
Yeah, I'll add that to my Predat's Day.
Today, it's going to be breezy and cold. Wind chills in the single digits. Air temperature high of 24 degrees. We're at 20 right now at O'Hare. And then over the weekend, snow's the big deal, guys. On Saturday, we're going to have clouds. It's going to be cold and a coating to an inch late in the afternoon on Saturday. On Sunday, the snow's going to hit. We're going to have anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of the white stuff, a high of 31 degrees. Let's get the travel times. How's 294 doing? Here's Dominic Fertini.
You still have that crash involving the semi there, northbound Tri-State, a little bit north of 90. It's right near Higgins, but 3 right lanes are blocked on the northbound side of 294, right near 90. Traffic still stopped Balmoral to beyond Jade Adams, starting to stack up as well as we work our way through the morning. We've got the westbound 90 ramp still closed onto the northbound Tri-State as well, so a bit messy as you approach that ramp. Inbound Ike, a little bit tied up, 17th into Des Plaines. Inbound Stevenson slowing central into Pulaski. And on the inbound side of the Ryan, things tighten up in the express lanes right near 31st. Locals getting cramped closer to the Stevenson. Inbound Bishop Ford on the brakes near 111th. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
I own a fast food restaurant that was broken into early this morning. They tore the alarm panel right off the wall, and alarm detection systems came in the same day to replace it.
Same-day service is available to all of our customers. Never worry about your security system. Get to know Alarm Detection Systems. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years, and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with a medical alert device from Alarm Detection Systems. Setup is easy, and 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring is included. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, and with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors, and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all the we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
AM 560, The Answer.
Want me to sing?
The Dream Police? Yeah, why don't you sing
I'm
it?
trying to find my head voice this morning. I'm a little foggy. Police!
Oh, my goodness. Ooh, is that pitchy? Wow.
That was really bad.
There are dogs gathering outside the studio.
Stop it. Well, this year we're partnering, as you know, with Food for the Poor to raise money to provide food and water for children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. It's the 8th year that we've done a Christmas campaign like this, and the campaign has been very successful, but we need your help still. We're not at our goal yet to feed 1,500 children in Haiti and Guatemala.
So one of the things you can do if you're a business owner, marketing manager, you make marketing decisions for your business, sign up for our business benefactor program. Here's how that works. You make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. Again, 95 cents of every dollar they raise goes directly to provide resources, food, potable water, all of the necessary life-saving resources that kids and families in Haiti and Guatemala need. 95 cents of every dollar raised goes to them directly. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And because of your generosity, we're going to respond in kind by giving you 40 60-second commercials that will air on our airwaves, primetime broadcasting hours, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. It's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago radio. And to take advantage of it, you just call our sales director, Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. Again, that's 847-871-1527.
And a lot of people have asked me, Dan, and I know they've asked you about, why aren't we helping people in other countries and not here in the United States? Well, poverty and hunger in the U.S. is a very different reality than in other countries. Here in the U.S., there's always a social safety net to care for hungry children and families, and we see our tax dollars serving that purpose all the time. However, in a country like Haiti, where the government is corrupt and the people are destitute, there's no safety net And without help from groups like Food for the Poor, thousands of people would die of starvation because there simply isn't any other help. And Food for the Poor has been on the ground. They have a warehouse there. They've been there since 1982.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, why do we want to help children, families in Haiti and Guatemala? Because that's what we do in America. We feed the world thanks to our farmers and agribusiness and our disposition to lead on issues including compassion for our fellow man, assistance for our fellow man. That's why we do it, because we're Americans.
So we're asking for a one-time donation of $50, but if all you could give is $10 or $20, that's fine. But for $50, you will provide food for 1 year for a child and water for life for a child or an adult in Haiti or Guatemala. We want to thank some who've made donations. Christopher in West Chicago with a $100 gift. Ralph in Schaumburg, Mark in McHenry. The list goes on. And really, it takes just a few minutes to help some money. Here's what you do. You call this number, 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD. Or you can visit 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food. Or simply, if you have a cell phone, hit pound 250 and then say the word food when prompted. Again, operators are standing by. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren. And again, the number 855-880-3663, 855-880-FOOD, or pound 250. We're going to make a donation later today, Dan. And if I win my bet on Monday, because they're announcing Secretary of State, if it's Mitt Romney, you're going to make a $100 donation on behalf of Peyton and Eli, right?
I'll do it anyway, but you're not going to win.
I'm going to win. So again, 855-880-3663. And thank you so much in advance for your generosity.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Looking for an employment position or a career change in McHenry or Kane County? Contact Express Employment Professionals, 815-788-8556.
This is Terry Greeno. My company is Express Employment Professionals. If you want to get a new position in McHenry or Kane County, we are your connection. We did it 425,000 times last year. We are the go-to company for employment. Make a change and get a position that is rewarding and fulfilling. We know the companies in this area, and we know how to match you with a position that's a good fit for you. It's simple. We put great companies and great people together. We have the companies, now we need you. Contact us. Get more information at expresshires.com.
Contact the go-to company, the one that specializes in employment positions in McHenry and Kane County. Contact Express Employment Professionals, 815-788-8556. 815-788-8556.
Hey, have you ever mistakenly deleted a file or gone into panic mode? Are you still trying to figure out cloud migration? Do you know how to implement a hybrid integration? Well, if you want to save time and money, then let the professionals at Turnkey IT customize a solution that's sized just right for your company. For 20 years now, locally owned and operated Turnkey IT has become the brand businesses trust for their IT needs. Why? Because Turnkey IT understands small businesses just like yours. With monthly plans available for your team of 100 or a plan customized for your individual system, Turnkey IT has the solution. They even have equipment included if you want to go all in. Their great team of professionals help users every day with network monitoring to help desk to on-site support 24/7, 365 days a year. So stop worrying about your technology and let it work for you. Visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to focus on your business without worrying about the technical stuff. That's turnkey.pro.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
Each year, as the holidays approach, it can become harder and harder to buy for that person that has everything. Penn Ultimate Rare Books offers a unique gift-giving opportunity for exactly that kind of person. They house the world's largest private collection of Ayn Rand's manuscripts, signed first editions of Ayn Rand's fiction and nonfiction titles, along with rare signed documents and photographs. Penn Ultimate Rare Books also offers a carefully curated selection of signed and rare books by champions of freedom, free enterprise, and capitalism. From Thomas Paine to Thomas Jefferson to Thomas Sowell. Unique signed Einstein to unparalleled signed Ayn Rand. Learn more about these rare, unique, and historic books by visiting PENUltimateRareBooks.com. Give the gift of signed history this holiday. The world's largest private collection of Ayn Rand's manuscripts, plus signed first editions and landmark books in all fields of achievement and free enterprise. Turn your page in signed history with a unique gift this holiday season. Find it all at PENUltimateRareBooks.com. That's PENUltimateRareBooks.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Those who remember Trump's foray into professional football know he's always had an affinity for generals. We'll discuss with Paul Bonacelli at 6:06.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good Friday morning to Mike Scott.
More snow showers on the way for Chicagoland this weekend. 2 Chicago police officers resign, and the Cubs World Series trophy is going on tour. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The thank you tour rolls on.
Evangelicals, I love you.
President-elect Trump in Iowa last night. He'll hit 2 more states today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president-elect brought a familiar face to Iowans on stage. Governor Terry Branstad, his pick for ambassador to China. He also had a message for businesses. Buy American, hire American.
Now it's time for American workers to have a government that, for the first time in decades, answers to them.
Mr. Trump is hitting the road again today. He'll attend a Get Out the Vote event in Louisiana, which holds a Senate runoff election tomorrow. Later, it's another victory rally in Michigan. Dave.
Rachel, South Korea's president stripped of power. Just like millions have been asking for in weeks of protests, lawmakers impeached Park Geun-hye over corruption. She apologized for negligence. The prime minister is now in power as a court decides whether to uphold her removal from office. More doping allegations against Russian Olympians, far more than just the ones barred from competing in Rio. Fox's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Dave, more bombshell revelations just in from an investigation for the World Anti-Doping Agency.
A cover-up that operated on an unprecedented scale.
Investigator Richard McLaren saying more than 1,000 Russian athletes, including medalists at the 2012 and 2014 Olympics, benefited from a government-sponsored systematic cheating scheme. The report claiming it went as far as using salt and instant coffee granules to manipulate urine samples. No response yet from Russia. Dave?
Simon, it'll be wintry in parts of the Pacific Northwest, and more heavy lake-effect snow is forecast around the Great Lakes the day after 2 nasty highway pileups.
I was gone. I was just in for the ride. I had no control.
Your car among 50 involved in a chain reaction crash east of Cleveland. 20 people were injured. 3 died in a 4-car crash near Lansing, Michigan. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
21 degrees in Chicago. We have mostly cloudy skies this Friday morning at 6:02. On AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A man is dead. 3 others, including a young child, hurt following a crash caused by a shooting on Chicago's South Side. Chicago police tell us a man was dropping off a passenger yesterday when someone shot him near 71st and Morgan. Neighbor Mark Johnson says he heard the impact of the crash and then went outside near 71st and Morgan to see the damage.
Yes, it's terrible. Like, there's too much, gunfire going on around here. And it's innocent people being hurt by it, so yes, it's kind of sad. It's bad.
The driver then crashed into 3 other vehicles as he tried to get away. Chicago police are trying to identify the man who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman inside her Southwest Side home. Josephine Regnier was attacked Wednesday near 51st and Long. The victim remains hospitalized in stable condition. 2 Chicago police officers caught on video beating a man inside a Northwest Side restaurant over a decade ago are no longer with the department. Brian Murphy and Jason Orsa both resigned last week over the 2006 incident inside a Taco and Burrito King near Higgins and Harlem Avenue. Many Chicago police officers are being outfitted with body cameras, and now Cook County probation officers will join in. Cook County's probation department plan comes amid allegations some of its officers planted drugs and violated the rights of probationers. Police in suburban Elgin will start wearing body cameras after the city council there approved the plan to buy them. The first group, 30 to 35 officers, begin wearing the cameras in February. And vehicles could soon start rolling off the assembly line at the former Mitsubishi plant in Normal, if a Michigan automotive company has its way. The Bloomington Panagraph reports that a release from the Illinois Department of Commerce says Rivian Automotive is in talks to purchase the 2.4 million square foot plant so it can manufacture there and employ as many as 1,200 people. NBA, Bulls beat San Antonio 95-91. Former Cub joining their biggest rival. Many reports have confirmed outfielder Dexter Fowler will agree to a free agent deal with the Cardinals. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. Winter weather can do a number on your ride's battery. Before that happens, you should head down to your local Napa Auto Parts store. They have a huge selection of batteries, including the Napa Legend battery, at all at great prices. So keep your ride running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains how Trump is already bringing in jobs.
Donald Trump announced that SoftBank of Japan is going to invest $50 billion into the United States, and they're going to create 50,000 jobs here in the United States. It's called a telephone. It's called effort. It's called attitude.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 4.125%. APR, 4.82%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 4.125% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
It is 6:06. Let's get an update on the ride around town this morning in our AM 560 traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
Well, depending on where you are, that ride may be pretty easy. However, we've got a crash involving that semi still there. Northbound Tri-State, just north of 90. It's right near Higgins. 3 right lanes are blocked on the northbound Tri-State right near 90. Traffic stop now North Avenue into the Jane Addams. You also have the westbound 90 ramp onto the northbound Tri-State shut down. That's still a hassle as crews continue to work. Edens remains quiet. Inbound Kennedy a little bit tied up between the O'Hare extension to Cumberland. Not much of a delay. 21 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 10 in from the junction. Inbound Ike slows 25th to Harlem, 31 minutes Thorndale in. Inbound Stevenson a little bit tight from Harlem to Pulaski, 39 minutes from 355 into the drive, while the inbound Ryan starts to slow at 31st in the locals. 21 minutes overall between 95th and downtown. Traffic's a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology gifts for everyone, like laptops, tablets, smartphones, even Apple TV. And right now, look for the Staples Tech Gifts coupon book for great deals and even more savings while supplies last. U.S. stores only, excludes clearance. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy and quite cold with clouds and sun. High 24. Mostly cloudy and very cold tonight, low 14. Cloudy and still quite cold tomorrow with a coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon, high of 24. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
21 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Great events start with really great catering professionals, and that all begins with their delicious menus at tastycatering.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
And thanks to our great new president, who's going to make America great again, I am very proud to serve America in this very important role. Thank you very much.
I think there's a reason why attitudes about my presidency among whites in northern states are very different from whites in southern states.
And now it's time for American workers to have a government that, for the first time in decades, answers to them. I'm going to answer to them.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, I teased it. Did you get my reference, Amy, that Trump has had a long-standing affinity for generals?
Yes.
He owned the New Jersey Generals in the USFL.
Oh, that's
You see what I did? Isn't that cute? Isn't that darling?
Sweet.
Less cute, more substantive from David French, National Review Online, who also served in the military. Generals are wise choices. He's responding to the hysterics from the left. Politico's Julie Ayoff tweeting, 3 generals and maybe a 4th. Can we just cut to the chase and call ourselves a junta?
Well, President Obama had 5 generals in his cabinet. President George W. Bush had 4. This is not out of the ordinary. This is not an anomaly. This is no reason to panic.
Well, you better tell that to the New Yorker's Nicholas Thompson, who tweeted, how many generals do you need in government before you technically become a junta? Yeah,
junta.
Right. It's a military dictatorship we have now. We've gone from Trump as Hitler to now we have a military dictatorship. I think they need to pick their form of government they're going to rail against. But anyway, David French suggests actually generals are wise choices. They come from one of the few respected branches of government. They have done some stuff in their life. They've accomplished some things. They're not just theorists. French writes, by appointing people from the nation's most trusted institution to important positions, we can't forget that in an era when trust for government and other civic institutions is plunging, the military has retained strong support. Doesn't mean they're beyond reproach, but French points out that in 15 years of war since 9/11, the military has consistently fought with honor, courage, and excellence. The best military in the world isn't built by accident, nor is it maintained through negligence. The generals who are responsible for some of the military's greatest recent successes have proven they're worthy of respect. And in polarized times, respect is a precious commodity. So it's a fair point or two that David French raises. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Paul Bonicelli. He is a former Foreign Policy and State Department official in the W administration, and now he is over at the Acton Institute as the director of programs there. Love the Acton Institute. One of my favorite mottos, branding mottos, comes from the Acton Institute, connecting good intentions with sound economics. That's Robert Sirico, who is a brilliant man who heads up the Acton Institute. Paul, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So what about this kind of contention coming from the D.C. press corps now that people should be a little bit concerned about the number of generals, the military brass that is in the Trump cabinet?
Well, when they keep up criticism like this, it makes me ask, I wonder what Donald Trump will do in his second administration. It is kind of amazing, isn't it? You have, not only is this not an unusual number, you have it, as David French notes, one of the only parts of our government that's respected, and that's left and right, Democrat, Republican. Part of that is because so many people have relatives in the military, or or they did have. But, there's another reason why this doesn't make any sense. If you look at the three people he's chosen so far with military backgrounds, they actually are the best qualified for what they're doing. General Mattis, it goes without saying, is the most qualified to do defense. General Flynn, National Security Advisor, is an intel expert. He intends to do what the previous president, the current president, has not been doing, which is paying attention to what's actually true, because, Obama doesn't like the truth about the intelligence. It gets in the way of what he wants the world to look like and what he wants to do. And then General Kelly might be the best fit of all if you look at his whole career. He is not only a warfighter, but he's also an expert on what causes illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and terrorist incursions into our country from the southern border, because he was Southern Command commander, which is not a warfighting command. It's a command that focuses on those things I just listed. So these are excellent choices, and it just is actually icing on the cake to me that they're military, because I think that brings a good background too.
So what do generals bring that civilians don't bring to the table, especially for cabinet positions?
I think that the military leaders in the United States, far from being coasters, these people are not, like generals in Venezuela or something like that. They get to those positions by being experts at diplomacy, at economics, at politics, at the bureaucracy. In other words, they touch all facets of our lives. They're always involved. People don't realize that people at that level, those officer levels, are mixing in every part of our society and in foreign countries when they have, commands that touch in foreign countries. So I think that they bring the kinds of strengths that CEOs bring, as well as people experienced in government bring. And they're not apolitical. I mean, they may not be partisan, but these guys understand how politics works, and all that's important to make government work.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to the civilian seminars that the U.S. Army War College and the Naval College put on, and I've never been enlisted. I didn't serve because I'm a candy ass. But I went to these seminars, and so what you have the opportunity to spend a week like at Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, at the U.S. Army War College, with all of these career military officers, lieutenant colonels and colonels that are looking to make the next step, and they need to complete the War College, if they want to go on from their current post. And it's really interesting because you break out in these group sessions. For people who don't know, I'm sure you do, Paul, but you break out in these group sessions, and they want to hear from the civilians that are there from different walks of life, and they're very intellectually curious. I mean, these are super smart, talented, in addition to disciplined individuals that have a range of skill sets themselves. So I think we have this kind of caricature of the military and what military men and women represent and what they can and can't do and how they think or don't think. And it's so much more diverse when you actually have the opportunity to spend time with them, particularly at the officer level. And obviously we're talking about 4-star generals, advancing far beyond colonel and lieutenant colonel.
I think you give a perfect example. I have led seminars a couple of times over there, and that's exactly what I saw. It was quite unique, and that's why a lot of the countries in the world send their own militaries to go to the War College. They want them to get that kind of experience. Right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I remember in my little breakout session we had a naval officer from Albania. We had Army general from Pakistan. I mean, it's fascinating, the diversity, and as you say, how many other countries have their military personnel there, which speaks to obviously the superiority of ours.
Absolutely, no question. And, I wonder if all of the military folks that lined up behind Hillary and said Trump was not acceptable, if they might come out and comment on how many generals they think it takes to make a coup. I mean, I don't think you're going to hear that. And it's just the arguments against Trump are getting to be kind of absurd, and I think that's not good for the country. He's demonstrated his bona fides about bringing people together and being rational about the presidency. I think it's time for them to do the same.
Speaking of generals, what is your view on Petraeus? Paula Broadwell spoke for the first time in 5 years yesterday and basically said, I want to get on with my life. He should be able to get on with his life. He's eminently qualified for the post of Secretary of State. I don't know what Trump's going to do, but so she didn't really break bad on him. She's just kind of trying to put it past her like he is. But does that knock him out of the box? Should it knock him out of the box, that the misdemeanor conviction?
I think it does for a lot of people. I've been trying to gauge what military leaders have been saying, and there are some that, want to say that this is clearly a serious mistake. It was imported intelligence. It was done for a really base reason, but he has no record of that in his career. That is one, very big mistake. Others say it's too much of a mistake, especially after Hillary Clinton's activities, to let that go. It will only hurt Donald Trump. So I confess I don't know which way this would fall. I think he's been such a stellar leader that he would probably get past it. But you always have to think about the confirmation hearing. You have to think about how much damage is done to the president when you're going through those confirmation hearings. So I think there are others that my guess is Donald Trump will pick otherwise, just because it's not worth what it could cause for his agenda. But I confess I certainly don't know.
Yeah, but General Petraeus, he's owned up to it. He apologized. He was on with George Stephanopoulos. And but do you trust him if he was to be picked as Secretary of State?
I would. I don't think he would ever do such a thing again. Again, he's not lived a life that way. And there are other people in public life who, you're not surprised every time it happens again, whatever it is that they keep doing. But Petraeus is certainly not that kind of leader.
You mentioned General Kelly, Homeland Security, and his expertise in immigration. One of the things that he suggested is that Gitmo should stay open, which certainly runs afoul of this administration's posture and the cleaning out of Gitmo that's going on. How does that play out? Are we going to repopulate Gitmo with enemy combatants, or is it past post at this point, given what the Obama administration has done?
I expect it to be repopulated. I don't know what else Madison, Flynn, and Kelly and others are going to do with the people that we're going to be capturing, because there'll be a very different point of view. Barack Obama's administration was much more interested in killing people with drones than he was in bringing them back and getting the intelligence so that you can prevent more attacks, that you can harm the whole terrorist infrastructure. So I assume it will stay open, and I assume it will be used again.
All right. He is Paul Bonicelli. He's programs director at the Acton Institute, former foreign policy advisor, State Department official in the George W. Bush administration. Paul, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you both. Pleasure to be with you.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
How did you get to go to the military college? How were you selected?
I'm special.
Oh, my God. That's it? I'm special? That's all you got? Okay.
I'm special, and I know people, and they know I'm special.
Well, I went to Quantico, and I won't tell you how that happened.
Yeah, you were arrested.
Stop it. Today it's going to be breezy cold with times of clouds and sun. A chilly high of 24 degrees, but it's going to get really snowy here this weekend. Tomorrow we're going to have a coating to an inch of snow, and on Sunday we could have anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of the white stuff. Dominic Fortini's in for Jim Delamonte. So how's the Tri-State doing?
Well, we got a little bit of good news, but first that stop traffic continues northbound Tri-State between North Avenue now, just beyond the Jane Addams. That's all because of an earlier crash involving a semi that was on the northbound Tri-State, a little bit north of 90, right near Higgins. So we've got, again, that stopped heavy traffic North Avenue to beyond the Jane Addams as 3 right lanes are blocked off to deal with that. The only good news is that exit ramp finally reopened westbound 90 at the Tri-State, so a little bit of relief there. But now we've got to stall the FedEx truck in the center lane northbound Tri-State right near the O'Hare Oasis, so not a pleasant morning in that area. Also starting to fill in across the rest of our area roadways. Inbound side of the Kennedy, 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 10 in from the junction, 8 in the inbound Express. Inbound Ike, 33 minutes Thorndale in. Inbound Stevenson on the brakes, Harlem to Kedzie, while the inbound Ryan sits at 22 minutes, 95th into downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did, and that's called David Hochberg of Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, listen up, because you may qualify to receive up to $20,850 that you don't have to pay back. Well, you heard me. David has a lender who's giving qualified borrowers up to $20,850, which can be used for the down payment, closing costs, and eliminating PMI. But wait, there's more. The funds can also be used by borrowers looking to refinance their home to eliminate PMI. There are no income limitations, but the program is only available within certain areas of Cook, DuPage, DeKalb, Kane, and Lake counties in Illinois, and Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Racine counties in Wisconsin. So if you'd like more information on this outstanding new program from a lender that will always look out for your financial best interest, then call David Hochberg now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Amy, we were talking with Paul Bonicelli from Acton Institute about Petraeus.
Bonicelli.
Oh,
Well,
there you go again.
No, I'm not being.
Oh.
I'm just saying we have to pronounce these names right. Like, you don't say Luis Gutierrez. You say Luis Gutierrez. You don't say Paul Bonicelli. You say Paul Bonicelli.
Hey, Paul Bonicelli. That's how you say it, with your hands pumping up and down. Yeah, that's very respectful. Yeah.
You're taking me out of context.
We were talking with him.
Yes, him.
About Petraeus, among other generals under consideration, and some that have already been nominated for cabinet posts. So Paula Broadwell sat down with CBS News. By the way, CBS Morning News. Did you hear this story?
What about it?
Gayle King.
Well, are you been living under a rock? She's been on the show for 5 years.
No, I know that. She signed a 3-year, $16.5 million extension.
You know why they did that? To get access to Oprah, because that's her best friend. That's the only reason why. And that's why they hired Chelsea Clinton on NBC to get to the Clintons.
I want best friends that just by knowing them, somebody pays me $5.5 million a year. I mean, it's absurd.
Good.
And
she's a nice lady. I've met her several times,
Look,
and she's
whatever the market,
wonderful.
whatever the market will bear. Charlie Rose, I'm sure I would be aghast at what he makes and all that. So whatever the market will bear, good for her. But I mean, it's just like the amount of money that and the platform given to people that don't know anything is also what pollutes our political and civic discourse. They have nothing to contribute. So anyway, I was reminded of that when Paula Broadwell sat down with CBS News.
But she sat down with Nora O'Donnell, who's an accomplished journalist.
Yeah,
I like her.
okay.
She moved over from NBC to CBS.
Yeah, she's all right.
Oh, I met her at the convention. She's a lovely
Okay, well,
woman.
okay, you guys can do your Thumb and Louise thing another time. We got to talk about Paula Broadwell here.
Well, she chose the right person to give the first interview to.
Yes, and Paula, this of course, General Petraeus's paramour, former.
They were running partners, Dan.
Yes.
And then they ran into some trouble.
Hi-yo. It was an accident. I slipped.
Let's go do a 5K.
Okay. So Paula Broadwell, she's tried to get it. She tried to get a job at a bank, and that got nixed because of the attention the bank feared it would attract. In addition, now she's like she's doing some like nonprofit foundation work, like looking for gender bias. She's kind of saying she's being treated differently than Petraeus.
Of course, because she's a woman.
Yeah, I know. Let's all go burn our bras. Here's Paula Broadwell.
I've been strongly advised to not talk to the press, and I understand that. Sometimes it's better to remain silent. I've had that philosophy for the last 5 years. But I've reached a point where I feel like, you know what, I need to fight back for my life. You want to move on. It's time to move on.
Time to move on.
I mean, she was never criminally charged with anything.
Correct.
She's just a scorned woman because she was married, or she still is
She is
married.
married, yeah.
And has 2 beautiful boys and has kept the family intact even after all of this. So good for them.
And she said that she was very thankful to her husband for forgiving her and keeping the family together and all of that. And that's happened. And, great for them. She was
and General
asked.
Petraeus is still with his wife.
Yes. They're a handsome couple.
I'm sorry. She kind of looks like Michael Moore. Is that rude? Did I say that out loud?
It's
I'm sorry.
not
I'm
complimentary.
catty.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
But she's different. Look. Oh, my God. Just go on with your story, please.
Do you want to guess her weight like you did the first ladies the other day? Why don't you guess Mrs. Petraeus' weight?
I bet she's 175 at 5'3". Oh, my God.
It's proportional. Of a Barca lounger.
Anyway, back to Paula Broadwell.
So Paula said she was asked about Petraeus and whether he should be under consideration for Secretary of State. And she said this.
Nora, I think he's unequally qualified for many positions, but that's not my position to say. I think the president-elect would have to decide and members of the Senate. As I woke up to the news, it was a bit of a shocker that he was being considered for a cabinet position, and I was both shocked that I'm still in this tenuous position and yet happy because I think he should be able to go on with his life. He's earned it. And so should his family.
What about her? I mean, she served 21 years in the U.S. military, 13 years in the Army Reserve. And after the affair, she was demoted from lieutenant colonel to major.
Well, that's right.
And she lost her top
Petraeus was retired at the time, so there was different discipline meted out because she was still active. But I think she's right. Everybody move on, and when
she can't get a job at a bank.
When Bob Corker is named Secretary of State on Monday, everybody can move on.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today. Life should be an adventure, and so should your health. It's another can't-miss Health Quest radio show this Saturday morning. Dr. David Kolbaba.
I'm the host of Chicagoland's longest-running health news and science show. As a primary natural health care practitioner, I've been helping people just like you reach a higher place of health and longevity, utilizing more natural strategies as I believe our Creator meant it to be.
Create your adventure in health. Tune into Health Quest Radio every Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.99%. APR, 4.77%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, you don't even want to know what I'm Googling right now.
Coming up, more Mean Girls from Amy Jacobson about the physical appearance of Mrs. Petraeus.
Oh, that's so...
I'm so sorry. I'm not wrong. I'm just sorry. Coming up, the CEO of U.S. Steel says he is prepared to hire as many as 10,000 American workers. Why? We'll have the answer at 6:36.
And do you really want a president also being the executive producer of a reality TV show? It's our new reality. We'll explain, but first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike's.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. A scandal-plagued president of South Korea has been stripped of power, impeached. Prime Minister takes over as acting president until a decision by the country's Constitutional Court on whether to formally end the presidency of Park Geun-hye. Defense Secretary Ash Carter says the U.S. will stick it out in Afghanistan for years to come. Carter appearing with the Afghan president during his unannounced final visit to the country as head of the Pentagon. An explosion on a main Cairo thoroughfare has killed 6 Egyptian police officers and wounded another 3. Tributes pouring in for former astronaut and U.S. Senator John Glenn, who died Thursday in Columbus, Ohio, at age 95. President Barack Obama saying on behalf of a grateful nation, Godspeed, John Glenn. Wintry conditions have taken their toll on motorists in northeast Ohio and in west Michigan. About 50 vehicles, including a Greyhound bus, were involved in a chain reaction crash with pileups all over snowy roadways in west Michigan and Lake County, Ohio. More snow showers could be coming this weekend to Chicagoland. Some of them could be very, very heavy. And the National Weather Service says anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow could likely fall tomorrow and on Sunday. A man is dead. 3, including a young child, are hurt following a crash caused by a shooting on Chicago's South Side. 2 Chicago police officers caught on videotape beating a man in a Northwest Side restaurant over a decade ago are no longer with the department. Brian Murphy and Jason Orsa both resigned last week. Chicago sports, NBA last night. Bulls pull away from San Antonio late for a 95-91 win. Former Cub Dexter Fowler agrees to a deal with the Cardinals, a free agent blockbuster, 5 years, $90 million. Blackhawks battle the Rangers tonight at the UC. And the Fighting Illini put their 3-game college basketball winning streak on the line tomorrow afternoon at home against the Chippewas of Central Michigan. The news, a service of Accountemps. The 2017 salary guide is here. Check it out for instant access to the up-to-date salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. Visit them at Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says it's hard to undo the damage from the left.
Many people on the left really do believe what they believe. There is a sincerity of belief.
The truth is, it's a big part of the problem.
So it's very, very difficult to undo the damage of beliefs that are utterly false.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find everything on your family's wish list. Plus, the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or, my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof.
Or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you're an IT services pro or you just manage IT in your organization, you know how important data storage is. Hiding a server in the back closet next to the coffee filters? Well, you don't have to be running for president to know that's a dumb idea. Today, you need data storage solutions that are safe, secure, and ready for anything, run by professionals who care about you and your business. New Continuum Data Center is a cutting-edge West Chicago co-location facility that's 80,000 square feet of cooled and connected awesome. But don't think of us as a data center. Think of us as the people inside the data center. Talented pros who are monitoring your servers 24/7. We're here to customize solutions, answer questions, carry out tasks to your exact specifications, or just get out of the way while you work in our comfortable, secure, state-of-the-art facility. Whether you need a single rack, a secure cage, or a private suite, or just aren't sure, let's talk about designing the the right solution for you. Visit newcontinuum.net/radio today and get up to 3 free months of service just for taking a tour. Some conditions apply. That's newcontinuum.net/radio or call 1-800-432-COLO and mention this radio ad.
6:37. Let's get a check of the roads. In for Jim this morning. Here's Dominic.
Finally, some good news on the situation on the northbound side of the tri-state, where crews have reopened all the lanes after that earlier crash right near Higgins. But we've got some heavy delays still northbound tri-state between Roosevelt and Balmoral at this point. But they reopened all those lanes. Traffic should be flowing a little bit faster through the area at this point. Inbound Eden's 25 minutes from Lake Cook in, 20 on the outbound trip. Inbound Kennedy at a half hour, O'Hare to downtown. Watch for delays from the O'Hare extension to Armitage. 14 in from the junction, 10 in the inbound express. Outbound delays Diversey to Sayre on the west end. 12 minutes downtown to Montrose, 23 out to O'Hare. Inbound Ike stocking up with double-digit delays, 25th into Harlem, 40 minutes from Thorndale into the post office with some brake lights. Inbound Stevenson beginning near First Avenue. Inbound Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th into downtown. And a few issues inbound Bishop Ford. Those slow you down right near the Stony Island feeder. Traffic's a service of Staples. Staples can take care of all your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS. 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples. Make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Breezy, cold, clouds and sun today with a high of 24. Currently cloudy and 22. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the hits keep coming for Hillary Clinton. She loses on November 8th. She loses Time Person of the Year.
Yeah, she came in second place. Why did they even say who comes in second place? Just have your Time Person of the Year and leave it at that. Poor thing, they're pouring salt in her wound.
Yeah, it's sad. And then she's at the Harry Reid tribute, making some public comments, complaining about fake news, suggesting it cost her the election. But she's going to have to unfriend Sheryl Sandberg because her friends at Facebook ain't backing her play. Here's what Hillary said.
It's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences. This isn't about politics or partisanship. Lives are at risk. Lives of ordinary people just trying to go about their days, to do their jobs, contribute to their communities. It's a danger that must be addressed, and addressed quickly. Bipartisan legislation is making its way through Congress to boost the government's response to foreign propaganda, and Silicon Valley is starting to grapple with the challenge and threat of fake news. It's imperative that leaders in both the private sector and the public sector step up to protect our democracy and innocent lives.
Oh, lives are at stake. And here's the thing. That kind of statement is exactly why the CEO of Time Warner said earlier this week, Democrats present much more of a threat to First Amendment freedoms than do Republicans, and all the talk about Citizens United from the left, that they are the ones who want to curtail First Amendment freedoms, including of the press, interestingly. And Sheryl Sandberg, she's the COO of Facebook. She's the, no bossy campaign, one of those.
Yeah, I remember that campaign.
Well, her brainchild in part. She was asked, she was a backer of Hillary Clinton, as was everybody at Facebook. She was asked on the Today Show about fake news, and is the left suggesting that the fake news that was pumped through Facebook or tweeted by Trump or Trump supporters, is that what swayed the election, as some contend?
Did it play a bigger role than you expected or thought in retrospect?
Well, there have been claims that it swayed the election, and we don't think it swayed the election, but we take that responsibility really seriously.
Seriously?
But they're to
yeah.
blame because I saw a great interview on CBS over the weekend where they interviewed these people from Macedonia, of all places, who they created fake news, and then they would pay Facebook to put their stories on. So they've got egg on their face, her and Zuckerberg, because they made money. They paid for these fake news articles to come out on Facebook. Things such as, Trump, certain people, certain celebrities are turning to Trump now instead of Hillary and things like that. I don't know. I mean,
so Facebook has to vet the veracity, has to, fact check every post, every Facebook ad that links to some website.
Well, you don't believe that Hillary lost because of fake news.
No. And the propaganda, is pushed in every which direction.
Right, but fake news does become a problem when people think that there's a, sex trafficking ring at a basement of a pizza place and the guy shows up with an assault rifle.
No, it doesn't become a problem. That guy becomes a problem because what kind of response is that?
It's not a normal response.
That is idiocy. And it's worth noting that one person did that. One person who, made a horrific judgment call and perhaps has other challenges in his life. But you didn't have people showing up with assault rifles to the pizza place looking for answers en masse. So no, lives at stake. That's hysteria. Hysteria.
What was hysterical was Hillary talking about, where she's been lately, that she finally has come out of the woods, Dan, because of that Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah, she's a riot.
This is not exactly the speech at the Capitol I hoped to be giving after the election. But after a few weeks of taking selfies in the woods, I thought it would be a good idea to come out. And I am very grateful to Harry for inviting me to be part of this celebration.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that 30-year ongoing project to humanize her, still going. Robert in Downers Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Robert.
Hello?
Hey, you're on.
Yes. Amy, she did lose the election because of fake news. She came out and said that the Benghazi incident was caused by some internet video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she is the absolute epitome of what fake news is.
Nakula, yeah, the original fake news outlet. Thanks for the call, Robert. Although it wasn't Nakula that was the fake news. It was Hillary Clinton and the State Department casting that YouTube video that this guy Nakula posted as the responsible party.
It was unwatchable. It was so bad. It was in front of a chroma key, and they shot it in a basement. It was awful.
So that's Hillary Clinton. She's fading into oblivion. Obviously, that can't happen quickly enough, but it is fun to watch it happen. It is fun to see her just kind of slowly melting away.
What do you think they're going to do next? What are the Clintons going to do?
Well, to borrow from Peggy Noonan, look, as long as they're alive, they're Bonnie and Clyde. They rob banks. So they'll figure out, they'll be on to their next heist, whatever that is. I have no idea. They're very creative, those Clintons. Land deals, cattle futures, nonprofit foundations. I mean, who knows? Foreign governments.
Sky's the limit.
I mean, it's going to be tough to top the Clinton Foundation in terms of a racket, but...
Do you think she'll ever run for office again?
Oh, yeah, 2020. She's a nominee. I've already endorsed her.
Oh, really?
I can't wait to have her back.
Joe Biden wants it, too. He's not saying no.
No, he downplayed that after he said that. But, no, who knows? I mean, she's timeless.
What about Chelsea? Do you think she'll run for office? The name recognition's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's terribly conflicted name recognition, though, isn't it? It's Wiener's name recognition is there, too. But I don't think you'd want to cast yourself under that banner. I want to get to U.S. Steel, too. This is really interesting. The CEO of U.S. Steel was on CNBC yesterday, Mario Longhi, and was talking about forthcoming policy changes that are anticipated and the optimism that exists since the election in the manufacturing sector in particular and in America specifically. Here's what U.S. Steel CEO had to say about the impact of anticipated tax and regulatory policy changes under a Trump presidency.
I think what you will see is an acceleration of the investments that we are going to make. We already structured to do some things, but when you see in the near future improvement to the tax laws, improvements to regulation, those two things by themselves may be a significant driver to what we're going to do. And you add to that, you just heard, Secretaries-elect Ross and the Secretary of the Treasury, Mnuchin, they are validating that sustainably we can grow at least 3.5%. And in that environment, we're going to be able to do significantly.
So just to be clear, when you say reinvestments, you're thinking United States, in the United States, as opposed to other countries because of what is coming.
That's correct.
And you're planning that right now?
Absolutely.
Investments in the United States because of what is coming specifically. Now we can talk about tariffs and trade policy. That's a different discussion. But what Longy's saying there is specifically because of the anticipated reductions in the corporate tax rate down to 15% or something.
Yeah,
approximating
like Paul
that.
Ryan predicts 15%, Donald Trump 20%.
And in addition to that, the regulatory relief from nonsensical regulations promulgated by the EPA, the fourth branch of government alone, but regulatory relief beyond just that as well. And Longy made provided a specific example. For example, EPA regulations that require us to reduce pollutants in wastewater that are below what is naturally occurring, what occurs, in nature, if there were no industry, things like that are just oppressive and create economic stagnation because you're spending so much time hiring lawyers to comply rather than hiring workers to produce. And so Longy went on to be specific about the investments and what it could mean in terms of new jobs at U.S. Steel or, frankly, bringing old jobs back.
I have not felt an environment of positive optimism where forces are converging to provide for a better environment in quite a while. And this is pretty widespread. Customers, suppliers, throughout the communities.
Only in the United States? Or are you seeing the same sort of optimism in Europe, or it's sort of a different economic outlook?
It's the United States. The United States is a special place.
Are your employees more optimistic?
Absolutely. And I'd be more than happy to bring back the employees that we were forced to lay off during that depressive years.
How many jobs
Absolutely.
is that?
It could be close to 10,000.
10,000 jobs.
Yes.
That's hopeful.
That's a big number. That's a big number. And these are hopeful times all of a sudden. Isn't it interesting?
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today it's going to be quite cold. Brace yourselves, bundle up. We're going to have a high of 24 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. The weekend looks pretty dicey. On Saturday, we're going to have a coating to an inch of snow, a high of 23. And on Sunday, it's going to be warmer, a high of 31, but we're going to have anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow. Anything enjoyable on the roadways? Here's Dominic Fortini in for Jim Telemonte.
Certainly fill it in as we work our way through the morning. We do have that stop traffic continuing on the northbound side of the Tri-State after that earlier semi-issue. Northbound Tri-State backing up Roosevelt into the Bensonville Bridge. Pretty thick there. Inbound Eden's 26 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, 21 on the outbound trip. Inbound Kennedy slows Irving Park to Armitage with the biggest delay. 31 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 16 in from the junction. 12 and the inbound Express Ohio feeder ramp also begins to back up. On the outbound trip, 24 minutes downtown out to O'Hare. Slowdowns Fullerton through Addison. Double-digit delays popping up on the inbound side of the Eisenhower stop and go near 25th. 43 minutes Thorndale into the post office, a half hour from Manheim. Inbound Stevenson stop and go approaching Harlem. 47 minutes from 355 into the drive with delays on the inbound Ryan slowing you up. In the express lanes near the ballpark and the locals near 43rd. 25 minutes overall 95th into downtown. Inbound I-57 starts to slow right near Halstead. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Congress facing a midnight deadline for keeping the government open. Hyundai announces a minivan recall and airline profits moving lower. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Congress has passed a stopgap spending bill to keep the federal government running past tonight's midnight deadline. Senate action, however, is uncertain. The measure would fund federal agencies through April. As this Friday unfolds, the Commerce Department releasing wholesale trade inventories for October. The University of Michigan will report its consumer confidence survey as well. And beginning today, Hyundai is recalling more than 41,000 older Entourage minivans because the hoods can fly open while being driven. The International Air Transport Association cutting its projection for record airline industry profits this year, now predicting a 16% decline in net profits next year because of rising oil prices. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I just want to follow up on this, the comments from the U.S. Steel CEO Mario Longhi that we just played before the break. Very interesting piece in the New York Times from David Leonhardt, research from the Equality of Opportunity Project. The chance of making more money than your parents if you were born in various decades. And this speaks to, here's another why Trump, and why is there anxiety and the feeling among a wide swath of the body politic that system change is required? Born in 1940, 92% chance of making more money than your parents. If you're born in 1950, you had a 79% of making more money than your parents. Now, I mean, this, kind of industrialization. There's some of this is explainable as the country matures and grows wealthier. But 1960, 62% chance of making more money than your parents. If you were born in 1970, 61%. And if you were born in 1980, so millennial, 50%. It's 50-50 for those that are really starting to enter their prime working years, right? Into your 30s, and then you really should ramp it up in your 40s and 50s if you're going to make more money than your parents throughout the course of your work life. And so the dwindling of the possibility for the quote unquote American dream. This is what's driving not just the Rust Belt, but a diverse assemblage of Americans. It's what drove them to Trump, and it's what's calling into question federal government policy and state big government policies like in places like Illinois and the coast that the other states are rejecting because they haven't worked, and they're impoverishing people who do.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I own a fast food restaurant that was broken into early this morning. They tore the alarm panel right off the wall, and alarm detection systems came in the same day to replace it.
Same-day service is available to all of our customers. Never worry about your security system. Get to know Alarm Detection Systems. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years, and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with a medical alert device from Alarm Detection Systems. Setup is easy, and 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring is included. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz, at Automated Systems when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we'll ask Brett Baer whether he thinks Donald Trump should also be the executive producer of a reality TV show.
And Fast Times at Love Field with Judge Reinhold a little bit later. But first, the headlines with Mike Scott.
Outside, we have 21 degrees and more snow showers on the way for the weekend. A man dead, 3 hurt in a Chicago crash caused by a shooting. Cubs World Series trophy is going on tour, while ex-Cub Dexter Fowler reportedly signs with the Cardinals. Bulls get by the Spurs. A breezy day ahead, quite cold with times of clouds and sunshine, high of 24, and a cloudy, cold overnight expected, a low of 14. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump says thank you, Iowa.
When Americans are unified, there is nothing we cannot do.
Telling supporters he'll have 2 rules in his administration.
Buy American and hire American.
The president-elect will continue his victory tour today, thanking voters in Louisiana, then Michigan. Donald Trump also honored John Glenn.
Our nation mourns the passing of one of our great heroes. He was a giant among men.
Others have hailed Glenn as a space hero. President Obama offered a final Godspeed, echoing the words said to Glenn before he was launched, becoming the first American to orbit the Earth. He then became the oldest astronaut, going on a shuttle mission at 77. He was also a U.S. Senator for 24 years. Flags are at half staff at the U.S. Capitol. Glenn died at 95. She refused to resign, so South Korea's parliament votes to impeach President Park Geun-hye in a corruption scandal. She apologized for negligence. The prime minister is now in power as the South Korean court considers whether to uphold her removal from office. We already know Russian athletes have cheated. Many were barred from competing in Rio, but a new report puts the number of cheaters at over 1,000. Fox's Simon Owen, live in our European bureau.
Dave, that number includes medalists at both the 2012 and 2014 Olympics. A report for the World Anti-Doping Agency detailing what it calls an institutional conspiracy.
The Russian Olympic team corrupted the London Games on an unprecedented scale.
Investigator Richard McLaren, and perhaps anticipating complaints from Moscow, he insists
the forensic testing, which is based on immutable facts, is conclusive.
A Russian response expected later. Dave?
Simon, more Americans are dying from drug overdoses, topping 50,000 last year, the most ever. That's more than those who die in car crashes or are killed by guns. The Centers for Disease Control says heroin deaths surged 23%, ODs from synthetic opioids up 73%. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 21 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. More snow showers on the way for the weekend. National Weather Service says the showers likely tomorrow and on Sunday could add up to several inches of accumulation. The newest approved budget for the Chicago Public Schools is featuring a $215 million hole. City's Board of Education signed off on the $5.5 billion spending plan this week. The gap was created when Governor Rauner vetoed legislation that would have provided funding for some pension relief. A man is dead, 3 people, including a young child, hurt following a crash caused by a shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say a man was dropping off a passenger yesterday when someone shot him near 71st and Morgan, where Mark Johnson has a home.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, there's too much, gunfire going on around here, and it's innocent people being hurt by it, So, yeah, it's kind of sad. It's bad.
The man died at the scene while a woman inside the car suffered minor injuries. Chicago police are trying to identify the man who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman inside her Southwest Side home. Police say Josephine Regner was attacked Wednesday near 51st and Long. The suspect took the World War II veteran's purse and fled the scene. The victim hospitalized in stable condition. University of Wisconsin system leaders have signed off on raising out-of-state and graduate tuition by hundreds of dollars at a number of campuses. Plan calls for raising out-of-state undergraduate tuition for states like Illinois at University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Green Bay, La Crosse, Madison, Milwaukee, and UW-Stout. NBA Bulls over San Antonio 95-91. Rangers take on the Blackhawks later on tonight. The news service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS 7 days a week. With all the packing supplies you need to at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples. Make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says we need to listen to our defense specialists.
In this Ohio State attack, you had a Somali man, Abdul Artan, a student at the university, Somali refugee. And I kept saying, well, why aren't we listening to our National Intelligence Director, Clapper, and our House Homeland Security Chairman, McCall? Because they all said radical Islamists will infiltrate the refugee populations.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 4.125%. APR, 4.82%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 4.125% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
7:05, time to check the climate of your business with AirComfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's get an update on the roads at our AM 560 Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Eden's in 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, 21 outbound with delays near Elston. Inbound Kennedy, 33 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 17 from Montrose, 14 in the inbound express as those start to fill in near Lawrence. Outbound delays have you locked in. Lawrence to Sayre. Keep that in mind as you're traveling along this morning. 25 minutes downtown out to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Eisenhower breaking 25th into Harlem. 43 minutes. Thorndale in to the post office. 30 in from Manheim. Inbound Stevenson hits the brakes. Harlem to Kedzie. 48 minutes from 355 into the drive. 38 in from the Tri-State. Outbound just a minor delay near Pulaski. Inbound side of the Ryan in the express lane starts to slow at Pershing, and the locals a little bit further back at 47th is when the first brake lights will hit. 27 minutes, 95th into downtown, and still some slowdowns on the northbound side of the Tri-State. Now Cermak into North Avenue after that earlier semi-accident. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A breezy day with clouds and sun, high 24. Mostly cloudy night, low 14. Coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon tomorrow with a high 24. And periods of snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches at night, low 21. And an additional 2 to 4 inches on Sunday, high 31. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 21 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Godspeed, John Glenn.
I think there's a reason why attitudes about my presidency among whites in northern states are very different from whites in southern states.
And thanks to our great new president, who's going to make America great again.
Are your employees more optimistic?
Absolutely. And I'd be more than happy to bring back the employees that we were forced to lay off during that depressive years.
How many jobs
Absolutely.
is that?
It could be close to 10,000.
10,000 jobs.
Yes.
And now it's time for American workers to have a government that, for the first time in decades, answers to them. We're going to answer to them.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And boy, wasn't that Fareed Zakaria piece for CNN, Fareed Zakaria, whose book, Rise of the Post-American World, Rise of the Rest. Yeah. It's not exactly coming together like Fareed Zakaria suggested it would, but okay, still interesting. This piece that the CNN put together with Zakaria on Obama's legacy, boy, oh boy, just can't get over the bigot baiting, can they? David Axelrod and why Republicans opposed the Obama policy agenda.
It's indisputable that there was a ferocity to the opposition and a lack of respect to him that was a function of race.
And, you know, the thing I always like when that charge is leveled, okay, name names. Which members of Congress in the House and the Senate are the racists that only oppose President Obama because he is African-American? Name names, because we got to root it out, don't we? Or is it just a specious charge? And by the way, it's not just Flax suggesting what David Axelrod suggested. It's the president himself making a rather stark statement about whites in the South versus whites in the North that I don't think will be forgotten anytime soon.
I think there's a reason why attitudes about my presidency among whites in northern states are very different from whites in southern states. So, you know, are there folks whose primary concern about me has been that I seem foreign, the other? Are those who champion the birther movement, you know, feeding off of bias? Absolutely.
The fact that sinister music though behind it is just silly.
It's
like it's a horror film.
Yeah, it's cartoonish, but
Jason's going to pop out or something.
But it's cartoonish equal to President Obama's characterization of Southern whites as a monolith, and then invoking the marginal birther movement and purposely conflating a small marginal group of conspiracy theorists with all white people south of the Mason-Dixon line. That's a big statement.
It's similar, as you said earlier, to calling people deplorables.
Well, for more on this, we're going to give Bret Baier the opportunity to take a shot or two at a rival network. Not much of a rival, but nonetheless, we're happy to be joined by Bret Baier, host of Special Report, 5 p.m. Chicago time, Monday through Friday on Fox News Channel. Bret, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning.
So,
it's not going to surprise you that I didn't see said program. I did not watch it.
Yeah.
Saw clips of it, saw write-ups of it, and I agree that the ominous music was interesting. Let me just say a couple things. One is,
President Obama traveled the country for Hillary Clinton, went to swing state after swing state, saying that his legacy was on the line, that 8 years in office, continuing what they built on in hope and change in 2008 was on the line for Hillary Clinton. They didn't just lose white men. They lost white women. A female candidate lost white women, not only in the South, but in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin. Last I checked, that was north of the Mason-Dixon line, and it was the president who was campaigning in these places. Now, is there racism in the country? Yes. Could it possibly be that people voted against his policies and not his skin color? Possibly, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's an excellent point about this last election. You got to put your microphone on. It's just so that the nice people can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So we're learning late last night.
I was so stunned.
Yeah, she was. You stunned Amy into silence. That's not easy to do.
All right, Brett Bear, I've been harping on Dan to talk about this all morning long, and it's about Donald Trump remaining executive producer of Celebrity Apprentice while he's commander-in-chief. Do you think, we don't know how much he's getting paid from NBC, but I think NBC, since they're going to be paying him, will have a direct line and a direct line of communication to Donald Trump. Do you see this as a conflict of interest?
Listen, I want to know more details. I just don't understand how many of these things are going to work. I don't understand how Ivanka Trump is going to help run the company, but then move to D.C. and kind of be responsible for social functions as far as we can see. How Melania is going to be First Lady in New York with a kind of skeleton staff, but Ivanka is going to have a staff but also run the business. I don't know how the executive producer of Apprentice is going to be the President of the United States. So I think it's time for a press conference, and I understand the 15th will be him laying out this structure of business/government going forward.
Okay, all right. And part of that structure of business and government going forward, of course, is the assembling of his cabinet. And the kind of response from the left to these recent selections, a number of generals suggesting that we've moved from Hitler being in charge of the country to now a military junta. They're worried about military dictatorship because of Mattis and Kelly and others. But it doesn't provide much historical context because is there really that much more military brass in this Trump cabinet so far than we've seen in past cabinets?
There's a few more. If he makes one more appointment and puts General Petraeus at state, then you would look at a situation where you had a lot of generals. You'd have General Flynn, NSA, General Mad Dog Mattis at the Pentagon, General Kelly from Southcom at DHS. You'd have a lot of generals. I've got this book coming out in January, 3 days in January, Dwight Eisenhower's Final Mission, about Eisenhower, the farewell speech he gave 3 days before the inauguration of JFK. And it looks back at Eisenhower's time. Well, when he came into office from Truman, he really wanted to get doers. And like Trump, he went outside the box, not politicians. He went for business guys. He even went for the head of labor. So they called it 8 millionaires and a plumber was his cabinet. But he specifically didn't want to get military guys because he, as a retired general, he felt that it would send the wrong signal. I think Trump is exactly the opposite because he doesn't have that military experience. He wants that type of person that he respects and reveres close to him. And so he's taking the risk about the perception of too many military men in the
yeah, and not only that he respects and reveres, right? David French makes this point in National Review Online yesterday that the American people do, right? The one public sector institution that still enjoys the overwhelming respect of the American people is the military.
Exactly. There's also another common denominator. A couple of these guys were essentially tossed out on their ear by the Obama administration. So you have this respect, reverence for the military, but you also have a clear signal that this is going to be a different way of operating national security and homeland security because these guys were essentially, early retirement from President Obama.
All right. And speaking of General Petraeus, Monday, we've been told, is the big announcement when we're going to find out who's going to be the next Secretary of State. Are any of your sources inside D.C. giving you a hint as to who it's going to be?
Well, I think Donald Trump is leaning towards the businessmen for this particular spot. I think Rudy Giuliani has lost a little bit of luster in that race. I think Romney is still in it, but I think Rex Tillerson from Exxon is impressed, the president-elect. He's going to have another meeting, we're told. He met with Alan Mulally, former CEO of Ford, yesterday. I think he's sensitive, at least in the perception, about General Petraeus and all that would take in a confirmation hearing for him. So if I was to bet, I would say a business person, and that Mitt Romney is not out of it.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, see, Amy has a crush on Mitt Romney, and I have a crush on John Bolton, and so that's why we're. But here's the thing. I mean, if you thought the reaction to the left was Chicken Little-esque to Scott Pruitt for EPA, could you imagine the CEO of Exxon being named Secretary of State and what that is going to generate on the Hill?
Oh, yeah, it'd be a ton. What was brilliant is that Trump and Ivanka Trump, President-elect, and his daughter meet with Al Gore. And Al Gore comes out and says they had an interesting meeting, and the right goes crazy. And then 2 days later, they say Scott Pruitt will be the EPA administrator. Well,
and then the day after,
that pretty much sent a signal.
Right, and then the day after that, he's talking with DiCaprio about green jobs.
He's just throwing them all off. And frankly, that's how you have to get stuff done in Washington, is talk to all sides to get things across the finish line. And it'll be interesting to see his first 100 days after he takes office.
Well, quickly, what do you think of Andrew Pudzer for Labor Secretary?
Yeah, another one that, on the left, people's heads are exploding. And, they just can't get the grasp of this. And, frankly, a lot of these bureaucracies are huge. They're massive. And they need people that can handle big companies to restructure them, especially. So even any of these guys, these former military, are going to have people below them that structurally are managerial in nature.
Yeah, and I mean, Puzder, my head's exploding with Puzder because I'm rewatching all those Carl's Jr. Television ads. But here's the other thing about all these cabinet secretaries that we're obsessing about now. 6 months from now, 1 in 10 Americans will be able to name who some of these cabinet secretaries are. I mean, I wonder how many people could name today who the EPA or the Department of Education secretaries are. I mean, they kind of fade into the woodwork. Most of them do once this thing gets rolling.
Exactly. So you'll deal with a confirmation hearing that'll create some buzz, but they'll get through because the Republicans have the votes, especially after the Democrats changed the rules. All they need is 51. And, it'll make a splash, and then they'll get to the business of actually doing the job, and America will totally forget who they are.
Yeah. All right. He is Bret Baier, the anchor of Special Report on Fox News Channel, 5 p.m. Chicago time, Monday to Friday. And the forthcoming book, again, the title, Bret, coming out in January?
3 days in January. Dwight Eisenhower's Final Mission comes out January 10th, and you can pre-order it anywhere.
Excellent. We're going to do that. Bret, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you.
Thanks, Bret. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
What are you saying if he picks Rex Tillerson? What?
I mean, Twitter is going to have a core meltdown.
Well, he's going to pick Mitt Romney. You heard it here first, okay? And it's going to happen on Monday, and you're not going to be here. So how am I going to get my money?
It's good. I don't have to endure the tears then when it doesn't happen.
Forecast for today, it's pretty sad. We're going to have breezy conditions, quite cold, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 24 degrees. Then your weekend looks pretty snowy. On Saturday, cloudy, very cold, a coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon, a high of 23. And then on Sunday, it's going to be 31 degrees, but we're going to see anywhere from 3 to 8 inches of snow. Dominic Fortini in for Jim Talamonte.
Inbound side of the Edens, 24 minutes from Lake Cook into Montrose. Inbound Kennedy getting thicker with delays. Now we're backing up Harlem into the Burns Circle, 32 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 16 in from Montrose, 13. In the inbound express lanes, outbound delays Irving Park to Harlem, 11 minutes downtown to Montrose, 27 to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Ike, heavier now, 25th to Western, 47 minutes from Thorndale into the post office, while the inbound Stevenson on the brakes, Harlem to Kedzie, that's 48 minutes from 355 into the drive. Ryan a bit sloppy this morning, too. In the express lanes, you're tied up at 47th, locals at 51st, half hour, 95th into downtown, while the inbound side of the Bishop Ford sluggish near 103rd onto the Ryan, and those delays northbound Tri-State still backing up traffic between Cermak and North Avenue. Traffic Answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
When I listen to Audible, I'm not cooking dinner for one. I'm on horseback, galloping across the Scottish moors towards my one true love. There, through the mist, I see my beloved, kilt flapping in the breeze. The fibers of his shirt struggle against his bulging muscles as he takes me from my horse and... my frittata!
Go to audible.com/actnow, and your first download is free. Audible. Stories that surround you.
Identity theft is more than credit fraud. It's when someone opens new accounts, files fake tax returns, or does any number of bad things in your name. LifeLock can help with proprietary technology that alerts you to a huge range of identity threats. And while no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, if you have a problem, we have a team of US-based specialists who work to fix it. Join and get 60 days risk-free plus 15% off. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code SALE15. That's promo code SALE15. Offer ends December 31st.
America is now making history, but not in the way we ever intended. We are now over $19.5 trillion in debt. Entirely unacceptable. Hi, I'm William Devane, and we are now in more debt than we've ever been. And paying this down anytime soon looks pretty grim, which is why I protect my assets and buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Whether you want new or old gold coins or premium collector coins, Roslyn has them all. Plus, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. And they still have the fastest shipping around. So don't take any chances. Protect yourself. Buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Because if you're prepared, you can weather just about any storm.
Get your free gold kit featuring premium coins only available from Roslyn Capital. A free silver kit and an IRA kit. Go to RoslynCapital.com or call 800-299-8200. 800-299-8200. 800-299-8200.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies has reached consumers in every state in the union. World-renowned celebrities, famous athletes, top news commentators, thousands of professionals, and yes, hundreds of doctors. Here's Dr. Watkins.
Balance of Nature selects only the highest quality ripened fruits and vegetables with all of their phytochemicals and no substitutes. In today's modern diet, it is essential to add Balance of Nature to your life.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking with Brett Baer about some of the comments President Obama made in this piece about his legacy that CNN aired, hosted by Fareed Zakaria, which President Obama said, among other things, Southern whites view him differently than Northern whites. That was not a compliment to Southern whites, saying that view him as more foreign, more the other, and thus the differing attitudes, essentially calling all Southern whites racist.
Yeah, it's insulting.
He also admitted something that we've all known for some time now, that he underestimated ISIS when he referred to them as the JV team. Oh, you don't say.
Kind of snuck up on them, didn't they?
You don't say. Related story on the race piece, though. Above the Law, which is a popular legal blog, its African-American editor, Ellie Mistel, called for jury nullification by blacks when juries in trials when on juries and trials that focus on white victims. So she is saying, and she is a lawyer, that if the person on trial is African American and if the victim is white, then you should automatically vote to acquit, regardless of the facts. This in response to the mistrial in the Walter Scott, Michael Slager case.
Oh, yeah, where they had 11 whites and 1 African American.
Right. This is kind of all part of the Black Lives Matter disposition of the racial healing that has been engendered by President Obama, as promised. Ken in Miami, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is Courtney down here in Miami.
Oh, Courtney. Okay.
And I want to say something to Obama. I hope he names his first officer after me, because he hates so much. I'm what they call a black American. Me, I'm an American. And I've worked for white people. I've worked for Jews. I've worked with Yugoslavians. I've worked with Italians. They taught me my trade of being a baker. I came down here and I waxed luxury cars. I'm talking about the Bentleys, the Rolls Royce, the Lamborghinis. And I've never, that racism crap, you black people get up off it. Ain't nobody holding you back but yourself. You stop hating people. Get that hate out of you, because all Obama wants to do is destroy the country. That's why nobody. He's crazy. He's a messed up president. I'll be glad when that racist president get off out of the White House. That's all I had to say. It just makes me mad because I don't know where to go with this. Because I hate looking at all that color stuff. There's only one race, and that's a human race.
Well
God
said.
bless y'all.
Well said. Thank you very much. Now,
Thanks, Courtney.
I did have a question for him. When he was waxing those Bentleys, was he doing it in a bikini with a Carl's Jr. burger?
With Paris Hilton. Yeah. Stop it.
Maybe when he calls back.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Hey, do you toss and turn at night? Do you flip and flop, never being able to get that great night's sleep? Well, if you have a problem waking up feeling unrested, then I suggest you do what I did and order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, made in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. Wow. Now, if you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday list, right now is the best time to buy. For a limited time only, when you buy one MyPillow, you receive another MyPillow absolutely free. plus 2 free Go Anywhere pillows. It's the best, and the money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st for your holiday purchases. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of 1. Plus, don't forget that extended money-back guarantee. MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
School censors Charlie Brown Christmas poster at 7:37.
Oh, no, Charlie. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Following a developing story out of Washington and the state of Georgia this morning, where the Secretary of State is leveling some serious accusations against the federal government. Brian Kemp says the Homeland Security Department tried to hack Georgia's election system a week before the election. Kemp says he knows this because computers have now been traced back to the agency. DHS is reviewing the matter, they say. Donald Trump promising more jobs and fewer regulations.
My administration will follow 2 simple rules. Buy American and hire American.
Trump in Des Moines, part of his thank you tour, much of the country shivering under a blast of winter weather, stretching from coast to coast, and we do mean coast to coast, for the first time in about 9 years. There's snowfall this morning in Seattle. Flurries through the morning and then changing over to rain. John Glenn being remembered by a fellow astronaut. Buzz Aldrin calls Glenn the pioneer of spaceflight for the United States. Saddened by the loss of a friend, Glenn is also a longtime senator. He died yesterday in Ohio at the age of 95. The newest approved budget for the Chicago Public Schools features a $215 million hole. The gap, according to the Board of Education, created when Governor Rauner vetoed legislation that would have provided funding for some pension relief. And Chicago police are trying to identify the man who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman inside her Southwest Side home near 51st and Long. NBA, Bulls beat San Antonio 95-91. On the ice tonight, Rangers and Blackhawks. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology gifts for everyone, like laptops, tablets, smartphones, even Apple TV. And right now, look for the Staples Tech Gifts coupon book for great ideas and even more savings. While supplies last. U.S. stores only, excludes clearance. Staples, make more happen. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is excited for our future.
The picks have generally been superb. I'm actually excited for America by the picks for his cabinet. Very, very important stuff who he has around him. There is no conservative who could have made a better cabinet. There is none. And I think that the credit needs to be given there.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
When I listen to Audible, I'm not cooking dinner for one. I'm on horseback, galloping across the Scottish moors towards my one true love. There, through the mist, I see my beloved, kilt flapping in the breeze. The fibers of his shirt struggle against his bulging muscles as he takes me from my horse and... my frittata!
Go to audible.com/act now, and your first download is free. Audible, stories that surround you.
Identity theft is more than credit fraud. It's when someone opens new accounts, files fake tax returns, or does any number of bad things in your name. LifeLock can help with proprietary technology that alerts you to a huge range of identity threats. And while no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, if you have a problem, we have a team of U.S.-based specialists who work to fix it. Join and get 60 days risk-free plus 15% off. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code SALE15. That's promo code SALE15. Offer ends December 31st.
7:36 in our AM 560 traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Inbound Kennedy filling in this morning. Brake lights begin at Austin into the Burns Circle. 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 23 in from the junction. Now 20 in the inbound express. Outbound delays have you tapping the brakes. Costner to Harlem. 11 minutes downtown to Montrose. Not too bad there. 31 out to O'Hare. Inbound Ike, slowest part of our Chicago area between 25th and Damon, 52 minutes from Thorndale into the post office, 39 from Manheim. Outbound delays central to Manheim. Inbound Stevenson on the brakes, Harlem to Kedzie, 47 minutes from 355 into the drive, only 37 in from the Tri-State. Double-digit delays on the inbound Ryan cost you 32 minutes, 95th into downtown. Minor slowdown southbound Lakeshore Drive, 18th on to Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State, a few slowdowns near 47th. Larger backup Roosevelt through the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic's a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology gifts for everyone, like laptops, tablets, smartphones, even Apple TV. And right now, look for the Staples Tech Gifts coupon book for great ideas and even more savings. While supplies last, U.S. stores only, excludes clearance. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Breezy, quite cold. Times of clouds and sunshine, a high of 24. Cloudy, cold, 14 overnight. 23 at O'Hare, 24 along the lakefront. Your next news update at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I just want to pick up on this piece I referenced before the news. This comes to us from the Washington Examiner. Picked up a blog post from, I misidentified him as a her, but in this post-gender world.
Who it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, why should I identify by any gender? Z. The author's name is Elie Mystal, or Mistal. The blog is Above the Law. He's the African-American editor of that blog, and he calls for jury nullification. Black people sitting on juries, when there is a black person who is on trial for a crime committed against a white person, you should automatically vote to acquit regardless of the facts in the case. He writes, does Mr. Stahl. Black people lucky enough to get on a jury could use the power to acquit any person charged with a crime against white men and white male institutions. What about white women? It's not about the race of the defendant, but if the alleged victim is a white guy or his bank or his position or his authority, we could acquit. Assault, acquit. Burglary, acquit. Insider trading, acquit. Murder, what the hell do you think is happening to black people out there? What the hell do you think we're complaining about when your cops, shoot us or choke us? Acquit. When you think about that, jury nullification, blacks should vote to acquit blacks regardless of the underlying facts
of the case
to support the charges in the case.
Well, that's ludicrous. I mean, that's not ever
What
going to
would
happen.
Ludacris say about that?
Ludacris would agree that the facts are paramount when you're on a trial and you swear and you take an oath that you will uphold the truth and that you'll examine the evidence and that you'll not let racial prejudice affect your judgment or cloud it. But I have always said that if African American is on trial, that at least half of the jurors should be African American.
Why?
Because of racial bias.
Wait. Work the logic of what you
but
just
he
said.
was saying acquit automatically because they're African American. I'm not saying that, but I just think it's more balanced and fair if an African American is on trial that you have an equal number of blacks and whites on the jury. I've always felt that way.
It's definitely, that's a feeling. Yeah.
Well, I've covered a lot of trials in my time in different courtrooms, and I just think it's fair. Like if I was on trial, if I was going to testify in front of a crowd of jurors, I would want half of them to be women because they understand my gender. They get me.
312-642-5600. Is there anybody that agrees with Amy on this matter of representation on juries? I mean, that's going down the path to where Mr. Mistal, where Mr. Mistal dead ends. Essentially, that's where you're going down. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 646-36DA, turnkey.pro, text line. So you're saying that
they would understand me more. I mean, if you were on trial, wouldn't you want single white men to be on your jury?
Why? No, I don't care. Why would? And when I'm on trial, I will make that clear during voir dire that I don't care
during jury selection.
So, but what? Why 50%? Why, if men can't make a judgment on your guilt or innocence, then why not have it all women?
What if the victim that I killed was a man? I don't know. I just think it should be equal amount of men and women, and I wouldn't care if there are some African Americans on the jury. I wouldn't care.
Oh, you would allow some African Americans on your jury? Oh, that's great. Hey, black folks out there, when Amy is indicted for miscellaneous crimes, just so you know, I mean, she's going to save a couple spots for you on the jury.
And Latinos, yeah, come on.
A couple of Latinos, too. I mean, it's going to be like Noah's Ark. It could be, a couple of everybody. A couple of Inuit Eskimos, too. We got one seat for an Inuit.
If you're a bulldog owner, foreman.
Right, yeah, that's what we need. We need bulldog owners so they know the life you've led.
I have sharp pains in my stomach.
Do you feel like your position is crumbling underneath you? Well, I don't. But Verlin on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I am so pissed this morning that it's hard for me to keep my composure.
Use your words.
And not swear. Let me tell you something. I am a humanitarian for a living. I take care of elderly people, and I take care of special needs people. I am from a military family. My grandfather served in the war. My cousin served in Desert Storm. I got an auntie that's in the Air Force, and I got an uncle that was in Vietnam. I want to say to this animal, I said it twice, animal, that assaulted and robbed this 94-year-old woman.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that you should get life personally behind bars, but when they catch you, you need to get the harshest penalty that they can give you. That you have the intellect of the lowest species of animal it is for you to do what you just did. Those are like babies. When I take care of at work, them elderly people are like babies. And I swear to God, I just hope you get it. I hope you get what you deserve.
All right. Thanks for the call, Verlin.
He's talking about Josephine Rainier. She was a World War II vet, 94 years old. Her purse was stolen, her car was stolen, and they had surveillance video of the guy the thug who did it. So hopefully they'll catch him soon. And there's a reward, by the way, of $10,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Waited for her outside her house. Monster.
And who should be on his jury when they catch him?
Her, old white ladies.
So now it's all the
and
victims.
World War II vets. No, in his it should be half and half. It should be half African American, half old ladies.
Well, do we know that he's African American?
Oh yeah. That's why Verlin was going
They've
off
identified
on him.
him.
Oh yeah, there's a clear picture of him. Somebody knows who he is.
Okay. So the jury has to be 6 African American purse snatchers and 6 old women because it has
with
to
cotton
perfectly
candy hair and purple hair.
No, actually, I should. Excuse me. Let me take a step back because he hasn't been convicted. I apologize. It should be 6 African Americans accused of assault and purse snatching, and 6 old ladies who've had their purses snatched because the jury has to be precisely representative
of both
the
parties
of the defendant and the victim.
Amen, brother. Now you're starting to see it my way.
I am about to go blind. Chad in Homewood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Good conversation and comment. You guys are both right. You're funny to listen to. You both argue the same point.
Funny how? How are we funny?
Juries. Well,
like
I
a clown?
Your point. I understand her point.
Thank you.
Yes. Juries should be representative of the trial and the person who's brought before them.
Well,
so I agree with you both.
Well, let me ask you
Thanks,
this.
Chad.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Chad. I mean, so a black person can represent me as the president of the United States. A black person can represent me as my congressman, as my state senator, as my state representative. That's actually the case right now where I live. I disagree with them, but they can represent me. So
you're right. Yeah.
So then why can't a black person sit in judgment of me or if I was on trial, or why can I not sit in judge of a black person if he or she was on trial? Because it's about your judgment, not about representing non-behavioral characteristics, right?
Yeah, you're right. Therein lies the problem. But Amy's right with Yeah, you're both right. It's a hard point to argue, but it needs to be argued. It needs to be fair. Yeah, I see both sides. You're right, and Amy's right.
All right, thanks for the call,
So-
Chad. I mean, I guess my point when these matters is always like we all profess to want a colorblind society, and we think we're going to get there by forever counting by race, and those things are in conflict with one another. So if I was on trial, 12 jurors can be African American
Northwestern grads?
They can be African American females. I mean,
Okay,
it doesn't
you
matter
say
to
that,
me.
but
It does not matter to me. If I could have every member of Congress be black and every president of the United States be black, but think like Thomas Sowell, I'd be ecstatic. It's about what's going on between your ears. That's how I want you to represent me. So I want the people on the jury to be, as you suggested at the outset, to take their oath seriously, to examine the facts and render a reasonable verdict based on the facts, not because, there's a single white guy on the jury and I'm a single white guy. I mean, that'd be like, well, that single white guy could be a moron. I don't want a moron on the jury. I want somebody who's got their synapses firing, and I don't care what color they are. Mo on the Northwest side.
This is exactly the reason why people like Amy just can't make the top decisions that are needed for this country. What are you going to do when there's transgenders out there, or when there's one of the 31 genders out there? When are we going to stop with that type of ridiculousness?
Thanks for the call, Mo.
This is ridiculousness.
Robert in Northbrook.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Amy's right. Basically, this is probably one of the most racist countries in history, but you can't start divvying up juries. Then you got an O.J. situation where you got guilty people getting off just because of the makeup of the jury, and everybody's going to play payback. But when does it stop? So it's hard to say solution is, but there is a problem there, and so that's what I think. I mean, there is racism. There is judgment based on people's color. But like Malcolm X said, also, you don't have to be colorblind not to be a racist. I mean, you can recognize differences in people. Doesn't mean you're a racist.
Right, of course. Yes, right. Thanks for the call, Robert. That's exactly right. I mean, the last part of what you said, your non-behavioral characteristics. I recognize Amy as a woman. I recognize somebody as black or Latino, and it's a non-behavioral characteristic as far as capacity for a job or to serve on a jury. What kind of human being they are. I mean, why is that so
don't
complicated?
you think if somebody if you were on trial, somebody from Wheaton who grew up in the neighborhood that you grew up in would understand you better than, say, somebody from Mount Prospect?
Oh, yeah, because we don't have a Tykeable store in Wheaton. So we won't have anybody showing up. Won't have any adult babies show up for jury duty in Wheaton. I mean that's where it goes. The silliness of it all, right? You can't understand what it was like to grow up in Wheaton. You grew up in Mount Prospect. That's a completely different suburb.
It's a different world as far as I'm concerned. It's a different county.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Bob in Northwest Indiana.
Morning, Amy. I got to tell you, I'm personally insulted. I have a mother. I have 7 sisters. I have a wife. I have a daughter. I have 4 daughters-in-law. I have 7 granddaughters. And if you think I can't be a fair judge of anybody, I think you're sadly mistaken. This identity stuff has got to stop. I mean, where does it end? You talk like that, you want women on your jury. That makes no sense at all. You want people that are fair. It makes no difference what their gender, what their color, what anything is, what their religion. You want people that are fair.
Thanks for the.
You know what, Bob?
Thanks for the call, Bob.
No, it's just hearing your history with women. I would like you on my jury.
It could cut both ways.
Oh,
he
yeah,
could be
'cause now he
seeking a
doesn't like me.
refuge from the women. All the way. I'm just kidding, of course. I'm sure he loves all the women in his life.
A man who could understand a woman is a blessed man.
That's why I'm blessed.
You're single.
That's right. I understand. Mike on the north side.
Wow, what are the odds that Amy's on the wrong side, the liberal side of this question again? Think about it. First off, if I'm in Cook County and I'm a defendant, I'm not trusting my life to 12 idiots who couldn't get off jury duty. I want a judge where you don't have to have a 3-day waiting period to buy it like a gun. Easily in Cook County, you could buy it. Second of all, if you're the defendant, the last person you want on a jury would be black people, especially if they're black women who just had Bible study class the night before, because they'll put you away. And, Amy, if you ever go to trial, you better make sure there's not a single black woman on that jury, because if there's one thing that black women can't stand, it's skinny white blonde women. Because they've all lost a husband or boyfriend before, and you will be the poster child for the Trixie.
Oh, and if there's one thing Mike from the North Side knows, it's black women. There's national spokesman for black women, Mike on the North Side. Oh, boy. Lee in Bridgeport, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, y'all. I think that's the big difference of conservatives and liberals, is conservatives understand a trial's a trial. The law is the facts. It doesn't matter who the jurors are. And that's where Amy gets confused.
Yeah.
They don't need to be understood and have the same demographic to understand the facts of the trial.
Thanks for the call, Lee. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's succinctly said. I mean, wait, if you're a politician who's under federal indictment and you're on trial, it should
That's
just
never happened in Illinois.
Right, exactly. It should just be all convicted felon politicians or all politicians who've been charged with a crime. You know, talk about back scratching. You'd never have another politician convicted. I mean, the whole kind of like, I can't make a judgment if I haven't had the exact same or very similar experience. No, Amy, no.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're partnering with Food for the Poor to help raise money to provide food and water to impoverished children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. As you probably know, when Hurricane Matthew rolled through Haiti a few months ago, it decimated a country that was already the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. The need right now is overwhelming.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need. And 95 cents of every dollar they receive goes directly to the field, helping children and families.
Here's how you can help. A donation of $50 will provide food for a year and water for life for a child in Haiti. $50. That's all it takes to change a life.
To make that gift this Christmas season, just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-3663, or go online and visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
I'm an atheist and I love Christmas. Think that's a contradiction? Think again. I'm looking forward to the music, twinkling lights, gifts, and time spent with loved ones. The commercialism of Christmas, far from detracting from the holiday, reinforces a general feeling of goodwill. When you scour the malls in search of the perfect gift for a loved one and witness the cornucopia of goods and lights and decorations, you can't help but feel that others are fellow travelers in a quest for a joyful life. It's no accident that America, the world's most productive country, is also its most benevolent. Christmas in America is not a Christian holiday, but a holiday of personal, selfish, earthly pleasure and joy. Merry Christmas. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I feel like at least 50% better so far. I'm not as fatigued because I do construction work, so I normally get knocked around a lot. And I'm like 60-plus years old, and I'm still doing it. And I can start beating guys half my age now.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751.
or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram.com. That's Pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. Talk about dreamy. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel. You'll love the way they caress her every curve. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at Pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving, to both of you. You don't even have to wrap. Every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You better never commit a crime, because if you do have an all-female jury,
yeah,
I mean, if you've got some older, maybe not physically fit women, after the comments you've made about Mrs. Petraeus, about the First Lady, I mean, they'd send you away for life. So you better be on the straight and narrow. That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching right now. More snow expected for the weekend. Police searching for a suspect who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman. The Cubs World Series trophy taking a little tour. The Bulls get by the Spurs. Breezy and cold today. Full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time. 8.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump will thank more of the voters who made him president-elect today with rallies in Louisiana and Michigan. He took a Buy American, Hire American message to Iowa last night.
Rebuilding this country with American hands by American workers.
They're nearly done recounting the presidential votes in Wisconsin, but there's a hearing this morning on an attempt to stop it. Another hearing in Pennsylvania aims to start one. Fox's Jeff Manasso has more live.
Dave, a federal judge will decide whether or not a presidential recount can begin in Pennsylvania. And in Wisconsin, where the recount is about 80% complete, another federal judge will consider stopping the recount, where Hillary Clinton has gained a net 61 votes, still shy about 22,000 votes behind President-elect Donald Trump's lead in Wisconsin. The Green Party's Jill Stein called for the recount. She says to make sure that the election was fair, though a judge in Michigan stopped a recount in that state, citing no evidence of fraud. Dave.
Jeff, Hillary Clinton got an ovation last night at a send-off for Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid, and she warned about fake news online.
This isn't about politics or partisanship. Lives are at risk.
A fake story that Clinton was involved in a child sex ring, had a North Carolina man jailed in Washington for going to a pizzeria with a rifle to investigate fake claims it was involved. A Texas pizzeria is getting similar threats.
We've been harassed all kinds of forms, social media, phone calls.
Noah Polk owns Austin's East Side Pies, which has also been vandalized. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is back open. So is the resort town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, recovering from last week's wildfire that killed 14 people and burned down or damaged about 2,500 homes and buildings. It's like winter in parts of America. Heavy snows forecast from the northwest to the Great Lakes the day after 2 highway pileups.
One rear-ended us, pushed us into a vehicle in front of us.
His car among about 50 in a chain reaction crash in the snow east of Cleveland. 3 people died in a 40-car pileup in Michigan yesterday. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy, 23 degrees, winds west at 9. Well, you're headed to the bus stop this morning with a wind chill of 11 above. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott on AM 560, The Answer, and more snow showers could be coming this weekend throughout Chicagoland, Saturday and Sunday, with several inches of accumulation, but nothing like what they're getting on the other side of the lake this morning between St. Joseph and Holland. The newest approved budget for the Chicago Public Schools features a $250 million hole that gap created when Governor Rauner vetoed legislation that would have provided some funding for pension relief. If the General Assembly doesn't overturn that veto, the district will refigure its budget later on. A man is dead, 3 others, including a young child, hurt following a crash caused by a shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say a man was dropping off a passenger yesterday when someone shot him near 71st and Morgan. Mark Johnson was nearby.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, there's too much, gunfire going on around here, and it's innocent people being hurt by it, So, yeah, it's kind of sad. It's bad.
The man died at the scene while a woman inside that vehicle suffered minor injuries. Chicago police are trying to identify the man who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman inside her Southwest Side home. Police say the woman was attacked near 51st and Long. Suspect took the World War II veteran's purse and fled the scene. The victim remains hospitalized in stable condition. Police in Elgin will soon begin wearing body cameras after the city council there approved a plan to buy them. The Wednesday vote means the first group of officers, about 30 to 35, will begin wearing the cameras next February. Bulls beat San Antonio 95-91. Rangers battle the Blackhawks tonight on the ice. And at 8:03, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Turnkey.pro and from the Fox Business Network. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Time Inc., parent company of Time and People magazine, has hired investment banks to help it with a possible merger or sale. The Wall Street Journal says Morgan Stanley and Bank of America will work with Time. The company has received an offer from investor Edgar Bronfman. Another potential bidder is Meredith Corporation, the company that owns TV stations and magazines, including Family Circle and Better Homes and Gardens. Eli Lilly is working with AstraZeneca. They will jointly develop a new Alzheimer's treatment. The news doesn't come fast enough for AstraZeneca, though, which is eliminating 700 positions in the U.S. by mid-February. The drug company says it's restructuring because of competition from generic drugs. All 3 indexes closed at record levels yesterday. The Dow was up 65, NASDAQ added 23, and the S&P gained 4. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 4.125%. APR, 4.82%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 4.125% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
It's 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
Inbound side of the Kennedy, heavy this morning from the junction and the Burn Circle, 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. A half hour in from Montrose, 23 in the inbound express lanes. Ohio feeder ramp also backing up with outbound delays on the Kennedy. Cost and time, Irving Park to Harlem on the west end. 12 minutes downtown to Montrose, 30 out to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Eisenhower, plenty solid between 9th Avenue and the Burn Circle. It's an hour. Thorndale in, 45 in from Manheim. Outbound delays, Austin into Manheim. Then again from the Tri-State to North Avenue. 41 minutes from the post office to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson, rocking delays, Harlem to Kedzie with some slowdowns on the inbound Ryan. Near 51st, it's 34 minutes, 95th into downtown. Northbound Tri-State slows Roosevelt to North Avenue. Also a little bit tied up near the Bensonville Bridge to Toohey. That's because of a stall blocking the left center lane. Traffic answers when you need them the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy and quite cold with clouds and sun, high 24. Mostly cloudy and very cold tonight, low 14. Cloudy and still quite cold tomorrow with a coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon, high of 24. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
23 at O'Hare, 24 along the lake. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Godspeed, John Glenn.
I think there's a reason why attitudes about my presidency among whites in northern states are very different from whites in southern states.
And thanks to our great new president, who's going to make America great again.
Are your employees more optimistic? Absolutely. And I'd be more than happy to bring back the employees that we were forced to lay off during that depressive years.
How many jobs
Absolutely.
is that?
It could be close to 10,000.
10,000 jobs.
Yes. And now it's time for American workers to have a government that, for the first time in decades, answers to them. We're going to answer to them.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's fascinating you hear at the top in that montage the CEO of U.S. Steel, Mario Longhi, talking about the possibility of hiring or rehiring 10,000 Americans to work at U.S. Steel because of the expected tax and regulatory policy changes coming with the Trump administration that he believes will expedite investments. He's suggesting there hasn't been this much optimism in that sector in a long, long time, and it's specifically America. And at the same time, you've got a United Steelworkers union boss right now having a press conference blasting Trump.
Oh, that's right.
You know, I mean, boy. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment, but right now we're happy to be joined by Colonel Cedric Leighton. He is retired United States Air Force colonel, was the deputy director of the National Security Agency in 2010, deployed 5 times in the Middle East, also assigned to United States Special Operations Command, and is the recipient, decorated serviceman, the recipient of the Defense Superior Service Medal and the Bronze Star for his work in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Colonel Leighton, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet, Dan. It's my pleasure.
So give us your assessment. We've been poring over these selections all week. Give us your assessment of Donald Trump's national security team as it's currently constituted.
Well, Well, it's a very interesting team, and of course, there's this preponderance of general officers showing up, and even some more possibly coming down the pike. With the Secretary of State selection, which will probably happen next week. But there are some very able people here. For example, you've got General Jim Mattis, who's going to be the Secretary of Defense, and I think most people would characterize him as a Marines Marine. He's the type of person who is known for getting the job done, but his big thing is to be what they called the warrior monk, and he was somebody who took a lot of time to figure out not only the tactical aspect of warfare, but where we should go from a strategic standpoint. So in that case, he's going to be a uniquely suited individual to become the head of the Defense Department. When it comes to the department, go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Amy here. I was going to ask about NSA, Flynn, and General Kelly for Homeland Security.
Sure, Amy. Well, when it comes to General Flynn, I actually worked for General Flynn when I was at the Pentagon, and I have to tell you that I think he is probably not the one that would be suited for the national security advisor spot that you traditionally have had in past administrations. Could be different, in this case with the way in which Donald Trump may restructure the national security apparatus. He may give more power to the different cabinet departments, especially defense and state and possibly homeland security. But General Flynn is not the same kind of general as, say, Brent Scowcroft was. He was the national security advisor for both President Ford and then later on for President George H.W. Bush, and was basically one of the big architects, along with the Secretary of State at the time, James Baker, of the transition from a bipolar world, a communist-centered world, to a unipolar world with the fall of the Berlin Wall. In that particular case, I would say the temperament is not there, and I think also that the temperament, for National Security Advisor requires a degree of diplomacy that General Flynn has not generally exhibited in at least recent years.
Really? So you call into question that selection of General Flynn, somebody you worked for at the Pentagon, as National Security Advisor. What kind of national security, you're kind of distinguishing him or starting to distinguish him between previous NSA persons like Scowcroft. Continue, expound upon that. What kind of National Security Advisor would General Flynn be if Donald Trump does something different with that agency vis-a-vis the cabinet posts in the national security space than previous presidents have done?
Dan, I think that what we would see there is somebody who is more of a coordinator and gatekeeper, which was actually the original intent of the National Security Advisor position. He may very well, President-elect Trump may very well be in a position where he will say that the departments, the cabinet departments, should actually be in charge of the day-to-day operations and actually be the ones to handle policy on a daily matter. On a daily basis. The other thing that's interesting about this is that there actually is a move afoot in Congress to curtail the number of people that are on the National Security Council staff. Right now, we're talking about 400 people that are currently employed as one capacity or another with the National Security Council. And if they structure it in a different way, where they have the staff or even cut it by even more drastic measures, it would be a lot harder for the White House to get directly involved in day-to-day operations, which was one of the big criticisms of recent administrations and actually of the Obama administration when it came to specific military operations in both Afghanistan, Iraq, and even in Libya.
What about the inclusion of K.T. McFarland as his deputy, an old Cold Warrior who studied under the tutelage of Kissinger and then Cap Weinberger? How does that shape that agency with Flynn and K.T. together?
Well, I know KT. I've talked with her both on air and off air at Fox News when I used to work with them a bit. And she is certainly very able, very capable, and she could serve as a check on General Flynn's tendencies to go a bit off script. She might be able to do some things, but the other part of it is the world has changed quite a bit. There are a lot of new developments since the Reagan transition period, and it is a whole new world, especially when you look at cybersecurity and all the different elements that are out there that really challenge the role of the United States in the world today.
Now, Colonel, you mentioned sometime next week, we're hearing as early as Monday, we might find out who the Secretary of State might be. How do you feel about a possible General Petraeus?
Well, General Petraeus has a lot of talent. He was, of course, the big architect of the surge in Iraq, along actually with General Mattis, in terms of the doctrine that both of them co-authored. It is, I think, one of the negative aspects of it, though, is that there's still a cloud hanging over General Petraeus when it comes to his way of handling classified information and the charges that were levied against him in the Paula Broadwell affair. Where he shared classified information with Miss Broadwell, who was also at the time his mistress. So that I think is still problematic. I think it may serve to weaken the possibility of him becoming Secretary of State. It could be one of those areas where the feeling would be that he could be compromised even further in some possible way in the future. But he does have a lot of talent. He has a great reputation when it comes to actually getting the job done. With that exception there, and it seems as if he would be a person that certainly has a lot of diplomatic skills and could relate very well to many foreign governments.
President Obama, sitting down with CNN's Fareed Zakaria, said this about ISIS or ISIL. I'm quoting him: the ability of ISIL not just mass inside of Syria, but then to initiate major land offensives that took Mosul, for example, that was not on my intelligence radar screen. President Obama essentially pointing the finger at the intelligence community for underestimating ISIS because he doesn't like to take personal responsibility for decision-making in his administration. But he's also said we're safer today, America is safer today than it was when he took office in January of 2009. Assess the president's surprise by how formidable ISIS turned out to be, and if you agree with him that America is safer with respect to global threats like terrorism today than it was 8 years ago.
Well, I think we got lucky, and I think that the more accurate description would be we are safer than we were on the morning of 9/11, 2001. We've certainly restructured our government. We've done a lot of things, and frankly speaking, I think President Obama has continued a lot of the policies of the George W. Bush administration, which resulted in the creation of the Department of Homeland Security, better coordination among law enforcement and intelligence agencies and the military. So there are a lot of things that are really carryovers, although President Obama won't like to describe them that way, from the Bush administration. Having said that, the fact that we got lucky, in quotation marks, is also attributable to very good tactical intelligence and the ability to act on that type of intelligence. So I would give the president credit for being able to act on some things. There were some plots that were foiled that would have been much more major attacks than what we've seen, with the underwear bomber in Times Square and similar events. So we are relatively safer compared to we were, back 16 years ago or so almost. But the way that I would characterize it is there was a lot of preparation, good reorganization that was carried through two different administrations, and then we have a situation also where there's frankly luck involved, and our society has been better able to deal with some of the things that have plagued Europe, such as the failure in Europe to integrate Muslims within their communities, their societies. So that is, I think, a major difference between what happened, say, in France and what has happened so far, at least in the United States.
He is Cedric Leighton. He is a decorated, retired United States Air Force colonel, a former deputy director at the National Security Agency. Colonel Leighton, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Dan and Amy. Good to be with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, who wants to win free stuff? Tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding. We'll let you get a chance to win those tickets coming up soon. But first, here is your forecast. It's going to be a gray day, breezy, quite cold out there, a high of 24 degrees, but factor in the wind chill, and we're going to be in single digits. Weekend looks pretty snowy. Saturday, cloudy, cold, a coating to an inch of snow. And then on Sunday, the big stuff hits anywhere from 4 inches to more than a half a foot of snow. Let's get those travel times, the calm before the storm. Here's Dominic Fortini in for Jim Delamonte.
The calm on the both directions of the Edens, in fact, 19 minutes in between Lake Cook and the Junction. The storm seems to be on the inbound Kennedy. We've got delays Montrose into the Burn Circle, 52 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 42 in from the Junction, 33 in the inbound Express. Once you reach the Ohio Feeder, you'll find plenty of brake lights there, too. Outbound delays between Montrose and Sayre on the west end, 30 minutes downtown out to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower not looking that great either. It's on the brakes First Avenue through the Burn Circle, an hour 5 now. Lengthening out just a tad between Thorndale and the post office. 48 in from Manheim. Delays on the inbound Stevenson will cost you time. Harlem to Kedzie, 47 minutes from 3:55 into the drive. Still backed up on the inbound Ryan, a half hour, 95th in. Express lanes a little bit slow at 51st. The locals tie up at 47th. Southbound Lakeshore Drive on the brakes, Lawrence to North Avenue. And northbound Tri-State a little bit slow between Roosevelt and the Jane Addams once again this morning. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, guys. Check this out. There's a brand new technology that's going to drive your wife or girlfriend crazy.
It's called a Carl's Jr. Triple Bacon Cheeseburger.
No, it's even better. It's called the Micro Velvet, created by the PJ experts at Pajamagram. And it's found only in their Tempting Touch PJs. I got to get a pair of these. Tempting Touch PJs are simply the softest and most luxurious pajamas ever imagined. They're addictively soft. They beg to be touched. So go to pajamagram.com and get her the blissful comfort you know she deserves. It's a higher level of soft, softer than her sweetest dreams and yours. They're tempting to wear, tempting to touch. And if she's happy, you'll be happy. It's a holiday gift that has never felt this tempting. So you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery guaranteed.
Can I just get a pair of the pajamas myself, for myself, even if I don't have a wife?
Right. So visit pajamagram.com to get yourself a pair of PJs.
That's how addictive they are.
Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. No one attains greatness without risk. After 4 decades in real estate development, Donald Trump knows this. It's true for America, too. Trump broke through in the Rust Belt because he understands something that escaped both effete establishmentarians like Mitt Romney and champagne socialists like Hillary Clinton. That something is not everyone wants to be an entrepreneurial capitalist, and not everyone wants to put their skinny jeans on one leg at a time, throw a novelty T-shirt over their androgynous upper body, and ride their skateboard to some loft space where they code apps all day. And something else. That's okay. It's okay to want to work a diligent, honest 40-hour work week and be able to support one's family and live a comfortable life in so doing. There's nothing wrong with Mike Rowe's world of dirty jobs. But there is something wrong with an entitlement mentality that demands special provisions from the government necessarily at the expense of others. There is something wrong with lambasting a rigged, 2-tiered system right up until you are the beneficiary. Replacing one set of rent seekers for another ensures only that America works for those who don't. What's great about that?
You haven't experienced Christmas until you've experienced the Ron Hawking Christmas Show. Get ready. It's happening Saturday, December 17th at the Fuel Room at Austin Saloon and Eatery in Libertyville. Ron's high-energy holiday performance captivates audiences of all ages with a fusion of unique personality, music, and class.
This is Ron Hawking, and I hope you'll join us on Saturday, December 17th for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show at Austin's.
The Ron Hawking Christmas Show at the Fuel Room at Austin's. Get tickets now at fuelroom.com.
Here's some great news. Jack Taboda of Taboda & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Taboda & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Taboda of Taboda & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
AM 560, The Answer.
Wow, thanks. Oh, look at Mike Scott dancing to. Wow.
Yeah, there's
Can't-
no bigger Tone Loc fan than Mike Scott. I don't know if people knew that.
Can't unsee that.
No. I can't unsee this either. Judge Reinhold arrested at Love Field in Dallas.
Oh, no.
Judge Reinhold, you haven't heard from him in a while.
No, but
I think maybe since like the last Beverly Hills Cop movie. Fast Times at Love Field with Judge Reinhold, maybe a forthcoming reality TV show series. He refused a pat-down by TSA workers, and so they arrested him for disorderly conduct.
Thanks for the exposure, guys. Appreciate it. Glad you're here.
And they had
That's what he said to the media. Thanks for coming out. I'm glad you're here. Was he trying to break open the TSA?
No,
Bust it open, or he's just trying to make news and
maybe he
become
was trying to have
viable again.
Maybe he was trying to have a private moment with himself, like he did in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, thinking about Phoebe Cates coming out of that pool, and TSA interrupted him, and he didn't appreciate it.
Don't touch me there.
Only Phoebe can touch me there.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're partnering with Food for the Poor to help raise money to provide food and water to impoverished children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. As you probably know, when Hurricane Matthew rolled through Haiti a few months ago, it decimated a country that was already the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. The need right now is overwhelming.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need. And 95 cents of every dollar they receive goes directly to the field, helping children and families.
Here's how you can help. A donation of $50 will provide food for a year and water for life for a child in Haiti. $50. That's all it takes to change a life.
To make that gift this Christmas season, just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-3663, or go online and visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to refinance your existing home to eliminate PMI, give me a call. Joey heard me encouraging borrowers with FHA loans to call me to eliminate PMI and reduce their interest rate, and Joey is ecstatic he did. I helped Joey refinance out of his FHA loan, eliminated his PMI, lowered his rate, paid all his closing costs, and saved him over $250 a month. One phone call to me increased Joey's family's cash flow 3 G's a year. If you have an FHA loan and would like to see if you can eliminate PMI, lower your rate and monthly payments like Joey did, pick up the phone and give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Just how much does the mayor of Orland Park want to make? You know, local elections coming up as soon as February. Are you going to participate? Are you paying attention to what's happening in the community in which you live? At 8:38.
And later, win a pair of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding. But first, here is Mike Scott.
23 degrees, cloudy skies, snowfall across the area, and the scandal-plagued president of South Korea has been officially stripped of her power after being impeached. Prime Minister takes over until the country's constitutional court decides whether to formally end the presidency of Park Geun-hye or reinstate her. Winter weather hammering most of the country, even though winter technically doesn't begin for more than 2 weeks. Snow, single-digit temperatures, dangerous driving conditions. 3 were killed in a 40-car pileup in Michigan yesterday, and for the first time in years, it is snowing in Seattle this morning. For massive wildfires killed 14 near Gatlinburg, Tennessee, that town reopening to the public. Massive wildfires that killed 14 have kept evacuated residents outside of that town. They have been allowed to return to their own home sites. John Glenn being remembered by one of his fellow astronauts.
John was not just a legend, he was a champion. He was a champion for all of us who followed.
Former astronaut Gene Cernan saying Glenn opened doors for people like him. Glenn died yesterday at the age of 95. In February of 1962, Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth. He served in the U.S. Senate from 1974 to 1999, and in 1998, he returned to space at age 77. Cernan, by the way, walked on the moon as part of the Apollo 17 mission. More snow showers headed for the Chicago area this weekend. Plan ahead, says the National Weather Service, for several inches of accumulation. Chicago police are trying to identify the man who beat and robbed a 94-year-old woman inside her Southwest Side home near 51st and Long. A felon caught selling guns out of his garage has been convicted of illegal firearms possession. 28-year-old Jamal Davis was found guilty of selling revolvers from the garage of his home July 23rd of 2014. And police in Elgin will soon start wearing those body cams after the city council approved a plan to buy them. The first group will don the body camera outfits beginning in February. NBA last night, Bulls winners over San Antonio 95-91. Rangers and Blackhawks tangled tonight in a former Cub joining their biggest rival. There were multiple confirmed reports that outfielder Dexter Fowler has signed a free agent deal with the Cardinals. The news service of Cabela's. Come to Cabela's Christmas sale. Find great deals for everything on your family's wish list. Plus, be one of the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. Saturday and receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher will always tell it like it is.
He's blasted if he picks people who seem to be regular Washington insiders for his cabinet. And then he picks Ben Carson, the consummate outsider, to head up HUD. And big mouths like me say, well, you know, is Dr. Carson really a good fit? So here I am, part of the problem rather than the solution.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Christmas sale and find everything on your family's wish list. Plus, the first 250 in line at 8 a.m. on Saturday receive a free giveaway. Don't miss Cabela's Christmas sale.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I didn't get a cold is a miracle in mine because most years I would get like bronchitis 6 times.
I haven't had a cold in like 5 years. I attribute that to the fruit and vegetables and the fiber and spice.
I drive Amulet. I'm in hospitals all the time, and ever since I've been taking it, I haven't gotten sick.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
8:35, let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
Inbound side of the Edens, just a tad slow near Wilson into the junction. Inbound Kennedy, though, a whole different story as you're backing up Lawrence into the Burns Circle plenty solidly. 56 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 44 in from the junction, and an express, not very express lanes, 37 minutes on those inbound trip. Meanwhile, outbound delays, Montrose to Sayre on the west end puts you at 27 minutes from downtown out to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Ike, no fun either. You're locked in north of the Tri-State, then again 9th to the Burns Circle, an hour 9 from Thorndale in, 52 in from Manheim with delays on the inbound Stevenson, costing you time near Harlem. Inbound Ryan, slow from 47th into the Burns Circle, 32 minutes, 95th into downtown. Watch for a few brake lights northbound Tri-State near Roosevelt, northbound 355 on the brakes right near Butterfield. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Breezy, quite cold today. Clouds and sunshine and a high of 24. Cloudy and very cold overnight. Low of 14. Some heavy snow begins tomorrow afternoon. 23 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Automated Systems Incorporated. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Back off, sister.
You know our friend Colonel Alan West.
Yes, I do.
And you know what he says?
Oh, which time and about what?
You know what he says about the most important office in the land?
What?
Most important office in the land. School board member.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. Local government. I am a federalist by philosophy and a Catholic by faith, so I believe in subsidiarity, power closest to the people. And that makes local elections very important. You know, this is where, for most people, the preponderance of your property tax money goes is to your local schools, where you live, where you have dropped anchor. And so do you pay attention to what's happening in your K through 12 school systems, at your community college? I mean, the story we reported for much of last year about the abuses at COD, where you had a board president, a college president and Bob Bruder capture the board and, run wild with other people's money, wine clubs and a 3-star Michelin-rated restaurant on campus and a hunting club and all.
Yeah, and the wine cellar was in the restaurant that
all paid for by college DuPage district taxpayers. It's silliness. So are you paying attention? And then your municipal government too, which provides things like your municipal police department and fire department in most instances. There's some volunteer fire departments, but mostly, and other services. Of course, your water department and public works and those kinds of services. Are you paying attention at all? And the costs that it that local government imposes, property taxes most pronounced among them. Are you going to participate? Are you going to pay attention? Because you have primary elections as soon as February. You'll have the rest of the elections the first Tuesday in April next year. If you have candidates circulating petitions now, candidates who filed for mayor and village trustee and school board members and so forth, and will have completed the filing period in short order. Are you paying attention? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Or are you going to pay attention at least? Do you understand the importance, or do you think it's relevant? Well, to inform...
Well, who's running for what?
Well, to inform this conversation, let me give you an example of why it's important. Orland Park, it's a nice upper middle income community.
We call it OP, but all right.
OP? Is that how it's?
Yeah, most
you're
of
down with
Carl
OP?
Sandburg High School.
You're down with OP, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Orland Park, the city of big shoulders. Oh, no. So Orland Park, Village Board approved. This was back in October.
Good-looking women come out of Orland Park.
For example.
A lot of them.
Great.
Yes.
This is a great example.
McCarthy. What's her name?
Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy.
She's from Orland Park?
Yeah. And her sister who
She went to Mother Macaulay.
Yeah, I know, but she went to Orland Park. But Carl Sandburg High School's there, and they're always good-looking girls.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Good to know.
Just letting you know.
Amy has
no
got
ugly chicks go to Carl Sandburg.
It's great to know. So, for you families out there with high school-aged boys, you may want to relocate to Orland Park to send them to Sandburg. But you may not want to because of what the village board did under the direction of Mayor Dan McLaughlin. He is executive director of a builders association, a trade group that the commercial construction industry has been for a long time. He's been the mayor for a long time. I think he's been in office there for like 24 years. Part-time job, makes $40,000 a year.
Okay.
In October, with the village board sanction, and when you raise salaries, this is where we're going, you have to do it prospectively for the next term.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the next term, if he were to be reelected this spring, Dan McLaughlin would go from making $40,000 a year as a part-time mayor to $150,000 as a full-time mayor.
Wow.
The village officials say that that's commensurate with expanding the mayor's duties because he'll be day-to-day because the village won't have to hire a second assistant village manager and an economic development director.
Oh, he's going to do it all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one-stop shopping.
Yeah, but if he goes from part-time to full-time and he made $40,000 as part-time, then full-time should be at the most $80,000. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I do play one on the radio.
No, you don't. You do not play one on the radio. You confirm you're not a mathematician.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
In that moment, I thought it was a very clairvoyant moment.
Yes, he's. You're right. So, is he going to do 4 times the work that he's doing now? Maybe it has something to do with the fact that he's been in office for a long time, and he's looking to retire.
Oh.
And if you jack the salary to that number, his initial pension goes from about $30,000 a year under the current compensation arrangement to about $112,000 a year if he serves out his first term and is reelected. You see, he's turning 63, so he's a short timer and he's looking to cash out. And then what does this incentivize? It incentivizes other long-serving village trustees to get in queue and do the same thing. I mean, it's pension spiking without the spiking. It's just changing the compensation package as you near the end and then opening the door for others to walk through it. Now, IMRF, Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, works differently than how the teachers and all these other police and fire, all these other underfunded pensions work that at the state level, or Chicago teachers, for example. So IMRF is funded because municipalities have to make their contributions or they are in violation of the law. It's not like when the state short funds or skips a pension payment. But what about that? I mean, is that what you want? You just had a revolution against the political ruling class in part, and the response from Dan McLaughlin is to nearly quadruple his salary for the purposes of nearly quadrupling his pension as he nears the time that he wants to tap out. Paying attention? Paying attention to local races?
312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.pro answer line.
How about Maddie in Orland Park?
OP.
Hi, Maddie.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I was at the meeting that you were referring to. The room was packed. The overwhelming majority of responses from the citizens of Orland Park was that it was way too much, too quickly, and how could he possibly do the job of 2.5 people? And we knew that it was all for his pension. But about maybe 3 people stood up and said, Dan's doing a great job. I think he should get it. But the board, at the end of the meeting, voted to push it through.
Of course.
So I know that there was one board member that indicated that he was really uncomfortable with it. But they all voted unanimously to push it through. So, yeah, there are many of us that are paying attention. But, when the board's all on the same side, it's kind of like the Madigan thing. Your hands are tied.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I can't make an assessment on whether Dan McLaughlin has done. I've met him before, but I can't make an assessment on whether he's done a good job or not in Orland Park. He's gotten reelected a number of times, so I guess that says something. So it's not an assessment on the kind of job he's done. It's an assessment on what he and the village board are conspiring to do and whether residents are going to rubber stamp this or not. And what's your sense of that, Maddie? It seems like this will be a referendum question on the salary increase, the mayor's race next year.
Assuming that someone runs against him, but in terms of whoever the mayor is after this next election, will get this package. Is
Right.
basically what it is.
Right.
So someone is going to have to challenge him. Yes, Orland Park is a nice place to live, but there is a lot of, there's politics wherever you go.
Yeah, no question. Thanks for the call, Maddie. Appreciate it. Local there. John in Oak Forest. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm close to Orland Park, and I really don't care what the mayor makes. He's done a tremendous job with that town. Because I've been here for 40 years, and I've seen Orland grow exponentially in the last 25. So, I mean, that's what a mayor's supposed to do. The town is amazing.
Yeah, but
at least from the outside looking in.
Yeah, but do you want to do the
Paul
question?
Konerko lived there.
The question, and so did Buddy Guy. I mean, I think Buddy Guy still does. But the question is, do you want a professional political class like that that's so highly compensated? Because what does it incentivize? It incentivizes institutionalization.
All I'm saying, looking from the outside, he deserves it.
Okay, thanks for the call, John. But I mean, the point is, even if you make the argument that Dan McLaughlin specifically deserves it, you're codifying that salary and compensation package for that post for, that will extend beyond Dan McLaughlin's service, right? I mean, so that's the underlying question, rather than making it, just a referendum on McLaughlin. Has he done a good job? Let's say he's done a good job. I don't know. I'm sure there's divided opinion.
Well, if he was doing
Park.
a horrible job, he wouldn't have had that position for as long as he did.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who've done a horrible job, and they've been in the same position in this state for a long time. Mike Madigan comes to mind. So I'm not so sure. But hey, they're getting the representation they want. Right? I mean, the people are getting or at least they deserve. That's my philosophy on government writ large, not just in Orland Park. People get the representation they deserve. So apparently Orland Park is satisfied. Okay, fine. That's not the question. So is less about just a referendum on McLaughlin's job performance. It's a referendum on, is this the direction you want to take your village government? And are you even paying attention? Do you even care? And how about your school board? It's not just limited. I mean, I wanted to use this as an example of why it's important, the COD example of why it's important. But are you paying attention to these, down ballot, non-television no television advertisements, no mainstream media coverage? But they have a tremendous impact on your quality of life in the community you call home. And what's the turnout going to be in these municipal races? 15, 20%?
Maybe.
Don in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. We had a local superintendent from our high school did the same thing. He wined and dined the school board. He bought them. And last year, he increased his salary to almost $200,000, retired at, about 80%.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a consultant to the school board.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So it's such a gravy train. And now we got to replace this guy at, like you said, Dan, an existing salary that's higher than it should be, and we're paying for this clown until he dies.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Don. Yeah, I mean, going back to schools, have you taken a look at what these school superintendents make? Do you think they're being put to a market test? I mean, you've got school superintendents, this is documented, that we talk about 7-figure pensions across the board. We're talking about school superintendents with $5, $7, $10 million present value pensions. It's something, if you care about government, if you care about the quality of government in your community, if you care about what is coming into your household versus what is being forcibly extracted, you may want to pay a little bit more attention to school board and village board and library board and township board and county board than maybe you otherwise have done in the past. That is, at least if you want to stoke the revolt that hasn't happened in Illinois. That's happened all around us.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
All right, who wants free stuff? We're giving away tickets right now to Tony and Tina's wedding. It's back in Chicago and better than ever. Audience members don't just watch the show. You know what we do. We participate as guests of the bride and groom, and no two performances are ever really the same in this improvised interactive dinner theater. Everyone loves a wedding. especially when the family drama isn't your own. So to learn more, visit TonyLovesTina.com. But right now, be caller number 20. Caller number 20 to 312-642-5600 right now to win a pair of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding at Chicago Theater Works. 312-642-5600. Let's take a look at the weather. It's going to be cold and brisk today, a high of 24 degrees. And your weekend looks pretty miserable, but if you like snow, hey, you'll love this. Cloudy and very cold on Saturday with a coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon, a high of 23. And on Sunday, chilly with periods of snow, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. And then storm totals later in the day of 4 to 8 inches, a high of 31 degrees. Let's get the travel times and say good Friday morning to Dominic Fortini, who's been filling in and been doing a wonderful job for Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound side of the Kennedy, a bit sloppy, though. Not really wonderful there. You've got brake lights on Lawrence into the Burns Circle. 51 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 38 in from Montrose. 32, not very expressly in those inbound express lanes. Also going to run into some troubles on the outbound side in the west end, Montrose to Sayre. Inbound side of the Ike, an hour 2 now. Thorndale to the post office. Delays begin right near 17th into the Burns Circle. Outbound, you're slowing Harlem to 9th. It's 33 minutes from the post office to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson rocking delays. Harlem to Kedzie, 53 minutes from 355 into Lakeshore. 43 in from the Tri-State. Problems continue on the inbound Ryan, though. Getting a little bit thinner with those delays. Brake lights coming on near 35th. 28 minutes from 95th into downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive hung up Wilson to North Avenue. Northbound, you've got delays right near Roosevelt. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
The website is upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you get premium content that complements what we do here on this show. My perspicacious commentaries, long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers. Our podcast of our Illinois Rising program, that's Saturday afternoon on these airwaves, focuses on state of Illinois politics and policy, like municipal elections upcoming, as well as Man on the Street, Follow the Logic interviews, and selected podcasts from here, including selections of Amy's worst impersonations.
Selected podcast.
It's all at upstream-idea.com.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
You're on the go, up against life's daily challenges. You're up for that challenge every day, but need to take care of yourself. It's easy to get caught up with your routine and forget how much your body needs to stay properly hydrated to maintain peak performance. From hardworking tradesmen and busy professionals to moms running errands with the kids, many know the advantage to keep up the pace. Introducing MySport. MySport is your key to staying hydrated. Engineered by a bioscience company that knows you want healthier choices, MySport has the best hydration elements. You'll ditch those artificial flavors and heavy syrups and add the benefits of electrolytes, B vitamins, antioxidants, and best of all, get rid of that cloudy excuse for a drink you've been calling refreshing. The clear, healthier choice for hydration your body needs is MySport. Now through December 31st, visit misportdrink.com today and save 25% on all flavors. That's misportdrink.com. For healthier lives, MySport delivers more than hydration. misportdrink.com.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio, Chicago's safe money specialist.
We are going to manage a portfolio to the extent where every single month, you know and you feel confident that no matter what market it is, that you don't need to play the guessing game and time the market, because it's not timing the market, it's time in the market.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money specialist.